his 8-year-old sister 1 week ago in Cal City. The man who police say owned the dogs and was thus responsible is still on the lam. 68-year-old Kenneth Dobbins is 6'6" and 250 pounds and missing. The 12-year-old drowned when he jumped in a lake at Central Park to get away from the dogs that
can't
weren't
do a radio
supposed to
show
be
without
there.
water.
Town Bakersfield station for the high-speed rail. The High-Speed Rail Authority has nixed those plans, instead saying the station will be north of 7th Standard Road, and it may have to do with the instability of the ground where it had been planned on F Street, says Michael Turnipseed, the board chairman of the Kern County Taxpayers Association, talking to Bakersfield Now. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
To the rest of us, in a month from now, this Hollywood Big Shot's gonna give you what you want.
Too late. They start shooting in a week.
I'm gonna make him an offer again with you.
The Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, or however you may be viewing, for those subscribing on YouTube. This is the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, where we stream live at kernradio.com, broadcasting live at YouTube. It's another busy day in America, in the planet, really. Got a busy show, a lot of guests. Come out at the bottom of the hour, we're excited about this. You've heard about the Lemonade Kids. They've established a lemonade stand for Honor Flight, the local organization that sends veterans back to Washington, D.C. to see their respective memorials. The next flight wheels up in September, right around our annual fundraiser, so get ready for that. But we'll talk with the kids at the bottom of the hour. We've moved Daniel Petrie to 4 o'clock. Mr. Turnipseed is out of town, and so we moved Daniel to 4 o'clock because U.S. Open qualifier Manav Shah will join us live in studio at 4:30. Manav qualified for the U.S. Open, and if you don't play golf, you have absolutely no idea how difficult that was. He went down to Texas, shot a 5 under par after 2 days, beating people like, Sergio Garcia, former Masters champion, and then shot a very respectable 73-74 on Thursday and Friday at Shinnecock. Did not qualify for the weekend. He did not make the cut. He missed the cut by about 3 shots. But it was an incredible learning experience, and I think you're going to see this guy on television. I absolutely do, particularly now after talking with Nick Ragone and seeing that the new structure of the PGA, where there's a Challenger Tour, which is just a step ahead of the Korn Ferry Tour. I think Manav has an absolute great opportunity to be on that. And as we talked about, Ragone, who puts on his own Champions Tour event, believes that this thing, the Challenger Tour, which separates from the top echelon of players, will get a TV contract with either the Golf Channel or perhaps ESPN or somebody, USA, somebody. We're going to see Manav on TV one day, and we'll talk with him at 4:30. And we got a ton of news. There's drama with the Dodgers. Dalton rushing. Did you see the game last night? You talk about this in your little sports show?
I didn't see the game, but I saw the video.
His days are numbered.
Oh, Lord.
Let me tell you something. There's something that I've learned in my many decades of life. Never screw with the superstar. If you're John Paxson, leave Michael alone. You know what I'm saying? If you're, I can't think of any of the scrubs on the Lakers, but if you're one of the scrubs on the Lakers, don't mess with Kareem. It's that simple. And Shohei got angry for the first, I have never seen him. And for the Japanese, angry is kind of like this. They're very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Placid. That's not a really good word. very ambivalent look when they're angry. They're not like, they're just kind of like, and he was angry last night. They got crossed up, cost a run. There was this runner on third base, and Shohei threw a fastball. Rushing somehow thought he was throwing a curveball, and a simple catch got away, run scored. And then, because Rushing is a horrible appealer of balls and strikes, either as a batter or as a catcher. And there was one that was clearly a strike, and he didn't call it. And Shohei was like, what are you doing? So Shea was like, okay, fine, I got this. Throws another curveball, and he's like, and then Rushing, and this is where I get to, you never mess with the superstar. Shohei taps his cap, signifying he wants an appeal. And what does the rookie do to the greatest baseball player who's ever lived? He gives him the no, don't do it. Have you lost your ever-loving mind? That's like being John Paxson and telling Jordan, don't shoot it. No, give it to me. So they appeal it, and of course Shohei was right. So now Shohei's about as angry as he can be, and it happened again. And again, he was like, no, and it just was a huge drama. It's a front page story on the Times. Freddie Freeman came and sat next to him on the bench, and they were just kind of going at it. He's trying to explain to him, you don't listen to Ralph Bailey. You don't mess with the superstar. Hell, you don't mess with me, and I don't even mess with Shohei. You know what I'm saying? And then who else came over? I think Miggy came over. Miggy Rojas came over. And then finally, Doc had to come over, put his arm around him and just say, look, son. Because there was one point he was banging himself in the head. That's not us, man. You think Mark Walters and the guys of the Guggenheims, Andrew Friedman and Stan Kasten, and they see their catcher banging themselves on his head? You think there's a Dodger way of doing things. And if you can't do it the Dodger way, then you're going to have to hit the freeway. That's just the way it is. The only problem is our backup catchers suck. We've got a black catcher for the first time since what? Russell Martin? And he was half Canadian. So you might have to go back to Roy Campanella. But Chucky Robinson, who I love, who got 2 hits the other night, I thought Doc should have brought him back last night. He got his first 2 hits as a Dodger 2 nights ago. Other than that, he was like 0 for 12. They were literally, anytime Chucky came up, the black catcher, and there were runners on, they just had him bunt. Like literally. They had him bunt with 1 out. I was like, damn, that's disrespect.
It really is.
That's disrespect.
I was just thinking in my head, it's like, they don't got a lot of confidence in your bat.
We'd rather have runners on in second and third with 2 outs than runners on first and second and 1 out and you swinging away. That's total disrespect. But he sucks. At that point, he hadn't had a hit, but he got 2 the other night. So that's the issue. We don't have any depth. Will Smith is, no, not that Will Smith. Our Will Smith is got a neck injury, but it's a bad look, man. And when you're on a stock team with a stocked minor league, you got to act right, brother. There are a lot of, when you're on a team like the Dodgers, the Mets, or the Phillies, or the Braves, there are a lot. You can do that kind of crap in Pittsburgh. You can do that kind of crap maybe in Cincinnati.
Honestly, you could probably get away with it in Philly.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
You can't
I mean, Alec Boehm did.
Yeah, you can't get away with that in LA. You just can't. And there's another issue, and maybe this is a coincidence, but Shohei's ERA without rushing is like 0.74. With rushing, catching, it's like 4.4. Now, maybe that's a coincidence, but if I'm Shohei, I'm sitting in Doc's office today. CK did it. What are you talking about, Shohei? What do you mean, what am I talking about? You know exactly what I'm talking about. CK would not touch that field without Austin Barnes. You know that. Bob Gibson did it. Bob Gibson would not take the bump without Tim McGraw behind the plate, period, end of sentence. So I'm not going out there until Will gets healthy. No, he can't say that. But I got a funny feeling that when Will gets healthy, Shohei's going to be like, he's catching when I pitch. I'm not going to deal with the kid that doesn't have the guts to call for appeals. And I kind of understand why Dalton didn't do it. It was really early in the game. Mookie did it the other night, and I was screaming at my television. You're appealing a 3-2 count with nobody on in the first inning, Mook. Take your strikeout and go sit down. appealing it. So now we had 8 innings with 1 appeal because it was a strike and he was out. But that's the only drama you're going to find with the Dodgers. And by the way, we're about to get a slew of returnees. Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow is close. One of our relievers that I can't remember his name, has been gone for like almost 2 years, almost coming back. And I don't know what the deal is with Will Smith. And who else is coming back? Oh, and Kike. We're waiting on Kike. Edmund's back. Edmund's been playing the last couple of nights, and he's hitting like a champ, too. He's been killing the ball. By the way, Roblisky won the other night as well. I forgot to mention that yesterday, which means he's at 9. Dude, listen to the All-Stars that the Dodgers could have, because I haven't talked about the one that I said there's a Dodger that you may not know. Who? What's your guess?
What do you mean?
The Dodger that's going to make the All-Star game that nobody is really paying attention to.
I know Muncy's having a great year.
That's the one. He hit it on the first shot. Max Muncy's going to be the starting third baseman.
Oh, wouldn't surprise me.
He's hitting like 260, 270. He's up in the top.
The best he's hit for you guys in years.
He's got 15 home runs, playing solid defense.
Might jump in the home run derby just for fun.
Roboliski's going to make it. What'll be interesting is what of our pitchers don't make it. Because Shohei's got, 7 or 8 wins now. Roboliski's got 9 wins. And by the end of by All-Star break, Yoshinobu Yamamoto will have 8 or 9 wins. Probably. And Tanner Scott is he closed it out last night. 4-3, let the first 2 runners on, and I was like, here we go.
I can see
Tanner Scott, and he struck out the side.
Yeah.
So Tanner Scott might go there. What are you talking about? Roblisky's leading our staff in wins.
Yeah, I understand, but think of it this way. It's the popularity contest part of it, where more people would vote to see Shohei. And
but who is the manager?
I know, but again,
and who gets to make selections after the voting?
He's not going to snub somebody like Paul Skeens, though.
If Roblisky's got more wins, Doc's going to take Roblisky. Are you kidding? So you're telling me if Roblisky has 10 wins, Skeens has 7, he's going to take Skeens. He's not going to take his own. He's not going to take his own player.
History has shown.
No,
especially if you have 2 guys.
History has shown that the manager takes his own players. Magic talks about that when he and Bird were on an all-star team when they were freshmen. And he said the coach was a Kentucky coach. And he played 3 or 4 Kentucky players ahead of us, despite the fact that Larry and I were the best players on the team. He said the lead would be 8. They'd put Larry and I in. The lead would be 16. And I'm just saying, homers. He would never do that to Roblisky. Can you imagine? You do that. That's the molasses of winning the World Series and being able to coach the damn thing. I get the script. What do I care about Paul Skeens? You kidding me? Let's go ahead and take our first break of the day. We'll get to a good day for the president after a really rocky beginning of the week. And this is why I keep telling you, and I know I've gone back and forth because yesterday I said I may have lied to you or given you false information in believing that Democratic senators are going to blow up the filibuster. But then at the end of the day, I did correct myself and say, no, they're going to blow it up because it's all about the Supreme Court. And the Trump court, which I like to call it, gave him 2 gargantuan immigration wins. We'll break that down for you after the break. Then we'll meet the young kids that are raising money for Honor Flight, selling lemonade at the bottom of the hour. Daniel Petrie moves up to 4 o'clock to fill in for Mr. Turnbull. He'll be back next Thursday. And U.S. Open qualifier Manav Shah joins us at 4:30. You're listening to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 AM 1230. And we're streaming live at kernradio.com. And I am waterless.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230.
And I walked up to the Arco to buy 2. Left them on my coffee table.
Casey's.
Yeah.
Biddles
left them on my coffee table.
City Council. Go, Cassie, go. There's obviously World Cup news and not the stuff that you think. There's gigantic Taylor Swift news. And we have that in news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Well, I lied to you again. Yes, I went to KC Steakhouse, but I did not have a steak, which kind of emphasizes my point. Not everybody's feeling steak. I wanted some protein, but then I saw the special board and I saw the pesto pasta with shrimp. Now, if you know anything about gout, you know I couldn't have it with shrimp, but I had it with chicken and it was delicious. I had it for lunch. And that's what I keep telling you guys. A lot of folks go to Casey's Steakhouse in large parties for birthdays and anniversaries, and you get a group of 12, and not everybody's feeling red meat. Not everybody eats red meat, but Jeff Daniel has expanded the menu. The pasta is incredible. He's got a fettuccine Alfredo that if I didn't have gout, I would eat 3 times a week. Are you kidding me? And the seafood dishes, I've told you about the halibut, the salmon. I almost had that last night, or the mahi-mahi, or the swordfish. Are you kidding? Where would you rather be? Beat the heat, get into F Street, say hello to Cassie Biddle, city council candidate, and all of her lovely waitresses and bartenders at KC Steakhouse, longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey Show.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by
Are you
Forbes
bringing me
Health,
water?
Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores.
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/game changers.
So how many
Bank of
backups?
America,
3?
official bank of the
Three if we
FIFA
do it
World
tomorrow?
Cup 2026.
Are you looking for a hospital that truly cares for your health and well-being? At Good Samaritan Hospital, they provide high-quality medical detox, psychiatric services, and medical and surgical care. They accept most insurances, including Medi-Cal, Medicare, and Kern Family. They offer Kern County's longest-standing inpatient
Why can't we
detox
do it
program
tomorrow? Play
with dual
share this
diagnosis that combines medical care and withdrawal management all under one roof. Learn more at GoodSamaritanHospital.com or call 661-215-7500. Good Samaritan Hospital. They care for their community.
We all start as tiny seeds, needing care, love, and a little sunlight.
Do you guys, anybody understand what he was just saying? I understand what he said.
Childhood and teen years. Before you know it, we're blooming, working, parenting, thriving. And yes, even golden petals can shine bright. Join Kern County Public Health and thrive like a poppy. Visit KernPublicHealth.com to learn more.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1.
Aggressive crackdown on immigration to move forward, permitting the administration to both expel some immigrants from the country and to turn away others at the southern border. In other words, asylum seekers can be turned away. Taken together, the courts, I'm reading from the New York Times, taken together, the court's conservative majority signaled deference to the president's ability to set the nation's immigration policy as the justices prepare in the coming days to issue more rulings that will decide how much power to give Mr. Trump across his boundary-pushing agenda. In one ruling, the justices allowed the Trump administration to end humanitarian protections that have permitted hundreds of thousands of people from Haiti and Syria to live and work legally in the United States. Mr. Trump has long pushed to terminate the program, known as temporary protected status, as part of the efforts to restrict immigration. The program was created by Congress with the bipartisan support in 1990 to provide temporary legal status to people whose home countries were deemed unsafe because of war, natural disasters, or other crises. Now, what is significant about this is we had some drama in the chambers of the Supreme Court. Justice Sotomayor got into it with Justice Alito, and I left the envelope that I wrote the quote on in my apartment. Or did I? Please stand by. I'm guessing that I did. I write notes on envelopes before I get to the rundown. And I did leave the, yep, sure did. Left it at home. Nevertheless, they got into it pretty good, where she said more people are going to die. And then Justice Alito said something that I had written down on an envelope that's sitting in my bed as we speak. But nevertheless, that's kind of a big deal. It's rare to see two justices go at it that publicly over such an issue. But this is gargantuan, and it's a huge win for the president. It really, truly is. Getting back to the New York Times, I don't want to screw this up. The court's 6-3 decision, divided along ideological lines, clears a path of potential deportation of 350,000 Haitians and 6,100 Syrians, and it is likely to have implications for TPS holders from about a dozen different states. And a separate decision that also split 6-3. The liberals dissenting, the court said the Trump administration could turn away migrants seeking asylum along the U.S.-Mexican border by physically preventing them from crossing into the United States as they sought protection from prosecution. The administration had asked the court to permit the government to revive the policy first that was used in 2016. Under the so-called turn back policy, the government had stopped asylum seekers from setting foot on U.S. soil where federal law would have entitled them to try to claim asylum and receive protection. And basically what Alito said on the envelope that I wrote down, that you can't seek asylum if you are in the country. What's the point of seeking asylum if you're already in the nation? And Alito and the majority said, no, you've got to seek that outside the nation. And, you're going to hear, I believe, from the liberals that this is a race issue. And only Donald Trump has done that. How, you say? By calling Haiti a S country, and why can't we get good people from Norway and Sweden? Like, you couldn't have said like a multicultural country that's got decent people, but no, he selects the whitest countries. I mean, to be any more whiter, he would have to have picked like Antarctica or something. I don't know. You're going to hear it. You're going to hear it. And this also ties in with the Save America Act, because the president is still at odds with Republicans over that. The numbers just aren't there. Even if we were to get rid of the filibuster, the numbers aren't there. Where the president wants a federal elections bill, he wants proof of citizenship beyond your government ID, meaning you're going to have to dig up your birth certificate, photo ID at ballot. I don't have a problem with that. In fact, I don't think that's an 85% policy right there. 85% of the country is all in favor of having to show some sort of government-issued license at the ballot box. Absolutely makes sense. But asking for copies of the birth certificate and things like that, that's a stretch. Just go for the slam dunk right now. Just go for the voter ID. But to hold up this housing bill, which would have made housing more affordable, a bipartisan bill that had over 80 Senate votes. When was the last time you heard that? When was the last time you heard a bipartisan bill that passed with 80 senators out of 100? And as I said yesterday, they were setting up, they were going to do it in the rotunda. And they had office workers, White House workers, putting up desks and curtains to make it all beautiful. And they laid out the pens where he was going to sign it. And I mean, at the 11th hour, at 11:59:59, the president inexplicably, which makes me wonder sometimes what's really going on, just said, screw it. Until you get me my SAVE Act, I'm not doing this. And he's got sycophants in the House that are saying the same thing. Don't these people know how to count? Who out there thinks there are 53 Republican senators? You need 60 votes to get this thing over the goal line. Is there anybody out there that really thinks that there are 7 Democrats that are all of a sudden going to jump on Donald Trump's side? And what about Bill Cassidy and John Cornyn and Tom Tillis? 3 senators that the president ran out of the Senate. You really think they're going to side with him on this? And even if they do, that's 53. You need 60. The numbers simply aren't there. Not signing the House bill is absolutely inexplicable. We've got a young group honoring Honor Flight and raising money for them. We'll meet them next.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Venezuelan migrants living in the U.S. rushing to send aid to family and friends stricken by devastating earthquakes in their home country that have killed at least 188. Local officials and advocates put out calls for donations in communities with large Venezuelan populations in states such as Florida and Texas. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis announcing the closure of the temporary immigration center known as Alligator Alcatraz. The center was built in the Florida swamps last year. Federal officials say they no longer need the extra capacity to handle detention and deportation because they have more permanent facilities. Detroit Lions player Terrion Arnold charged in Tampa, Florida with leading a plot to detain and pistol whip 3 people whom he believed had stolen from him. The crimes could carry a sentence of up to life in prison. Arnold's lawyer says the NFL player denies the allegations. This is SRN News.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety. Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. Headlines from the KERN newsroom.
I'm Chris Davis. An objection to the planned spending by the Bakersfield City Council and the budget for next fiscal year passed last night by all but one city council member, Ward 3's Ken Weir, who says $926 million is too much for 1 year.
I mean, if we're going to have a $1 billion budget this year, that is ridiculous.
The High-Speed Rail Authority is getting some criticism for canceling plans to put a station on F Street in downtown Bakersfield with no explanation from the authority. They say the station will now be north of 7th Standard Road. 68-year-old Kenneth Dobbins is still wanted in Cal City for having the dogs who attacked 2 kids last week at Central Park, causing a 12-year-old boy to jump in a pond where he drowned, say police. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom, with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
Look, folks, you already know that your garage door is a very important part of your home, from the overall look of the place to the safety and security it provides. So obviously, you should only trust the service, repair, and maintenance of your garage door to the pros at King Door Company. Their skill and product knowledge are unmatched in the industry, and that's no accident. The techs at King Door are rigorously trained at the King Door Academy. That's right. King Door has an in-house training facility to make sure your job is done right on the first try. They're trained in all the latest equipment, tools, and techniques. They even learn how to listen to customer concerns through role-playing exercises. And you'll see how well all this training works when they show up right on time in fully stocked service trucks with all the parts and equipment to service or repair any garage door. Like I said, your garage door is a very important part of your home, so leave it to the pros at King Door Company. Schedule your appointment today at kingdoor.com. King Door Company, the company with the pride of a lion.
First Look with Scott Cox, mornings 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Friday edition of the First Look program, we have the latest on Cassie Biddles running for the 3rd Ward in the City Council. Go, Cassie, go. There's obviously World Cup news and not the stuff that you think. There's gigantic Taylor Swift news, and we have that in news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening to the Ralph Bailey Show right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM
is moving up to 4 o'clock. I'm going to talk with Daniel at the top of the hour because at 4:30, U.S. Open qualifier Manav Shah is going to join us live in studio. Manav qualified for the U.S. Open, as we talked about last week. Shot a 5 under par down in Texas, beating players. Qualified for the Open at Shinnecock Hills, shot a very respectable 73-74. Missed the cut by 3 or 4 shots, but I'm telling you, particularly now that, as I said, the PGA has a different level of tour. There's the Upper Tour, then the Challenger Tour, and the Kroger Tour. You're going to see this kid on television. You really are. He's a really exceptional player. In the meantime, I've got 4 exceptional young people, as those that are watching on YouTube can see. These kids have been raising money for Honor Flight. Let me tell you left to right. I'm probably going to screw this up, but let's give it a shot. Left to right, the young redhead is Lucia White with red hair, which is interesting. This is Anthony Beckman right here to my direct left. To my direct right is Mary Claire Zimmer. No relation to Kevin Zimmer, former sheriff of Shafter, or mayor, or police officer in Shafter. And I'm blacking out. Jacqueline Gomez. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Give us a nice round of applause for Ralph Bailey. Thank you very much. Thank you. So tell us, who do I start with? Let's go left to right. Tell us how you guys started this. This is not the first time that you have gone out of your way to try to raise money for Honor Flight.
Yeah, so we're a part of the Ford Dream Builders program, and for the past 6 years, I think, we've been doing lemonade stands for Honor Flight. And basically, Honor Flight is when we're raising money for the veterans who fought in wars to go to DC and see their memorials and just be able to go back and kind of reflect on what they were able to do and how they served our country. And then when they come back, we all go to the airport that they fly in from, and we all give them a big parade and cheer them on, because that's not necessarily something that they received when they fought in those wars.
Yes, particularly the Vietnam veterans. The other veterans got a warm welcome, but the Vietnam veterans were treated. It's one of the most horrendous periods in American history, where I don't know if you guys are aware, but they were told literally not to wear their uniforms when they came home. And I often tell a story to my listeners. One of my ex-girlfriend's uncles came home and he wore his uniform, and he was waiting in San Francisco airport to fly into Bakersfield. And a guy, a hippie who was against the war, walked up to him. He was just sitting, and he just spat on him. And so Greg got up and punched him in the face, and he spent the first 3 days after serving in war in jail because he hit a guy who spit on him because he went to the war. It's just amazing. Anthony, how did you guys get started with this?
Yeah, well,
let me first ask, does anybody have a relative that's been on Honor Flight? Nobody? Nobody? Okay. Anthony, tell me how you guys got involved.
Yeah, so we started off with our first meeting, I think it was in April. And we just started going over most of the stuff that was in Ford Dream Builders, and we started hearing about the lemonade stand in Honor Flight. And I think it was the start of June. We got into our groups and it started picking up steam, like, okay, the lemonade stand is gonna happen in a bit. And we were like, okay, like, it's gonna be good. So I think not all of our team members were able to hear today. So what's it called? Yeah, today we started selling all the lemonade. We had a lot of like boards and everything. It was really good. We had the news come out. We had a lot of we had a assembly member come out, I believe. He was a part of the district or something, and yeah, it was really good. We got a lot of donations.
Yeah,
we raised around $4,500.
$4,500.
It's pretty good because each flight is about $1,500. So we've got 3 so far, and we've still got money coming in.
Nice. All over. And Mary Claire, where were you guys located? Where's the stand set up?
So we were actually located in Old Stockdale at
just like somebody's house, and they had just like a big yard, so it was a good setup, and it was right off of like a busier road, so anybody could just pull off and donate or get lemonade, cookies, whatever they like.
And Jacqueline, tell me more about Dream Builders.
So Dream Builders is a leadership program here in Kern County, and pretty much they go through a process of they go through a resume, and then afterwards they go through an interview and then do an ice cream social. So pretty much the program is just trying to inspire young people to be leaders in our community, and through events such as the Honor Flight and the lemonade stand, we get to promote that and be help out our community and give back.
And what, do you guys all go to the same school, or?
No.
All right, let's find out where you go to school from left to right.
I go to Garces.
Yeah, what grade are you at?
I'm a senior.
Okay.
I go to Miramonte, and I'm a senior too.
I go to BCHS. I'm also a senior.
I go to South High School, and I'm also a senior.
Okay, so then if I ask you a couple of questions about World War II, each and every one of you should be able to answer them, correct? Correct? Name one of our enemies during World War II.
Japan.
Nice. Name another one.
Germany.
Nice.
I would say North
Mussolini.
Vietnam.
Mussolini.
Russia.
No, Russia actually was an ally.
Oh.
Mussolini. What kind of name is
Italy?
Mussolini?
Italy.
Yes, Italy.
Yeah.
Italy. They hung him by his toes, as a matter of fact, after the war.
I did not know that.
And so you guys go to the airport when they leave and when they come back as well?
Yeah, when they come back. And then we'll have a big celebration for them. We'll have cheerleaders and a band come in, and we'll just give them the warm welcome they would have when the war ended.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That really, really is. And tell us about your leader.
So this is Peggy.
Come here, Peggy. Stand in front of the desk so they can see you in the camera. There she is. Stand, Peggy.
So she took over the Ford Dream Builders program about 4 years ago. And she basically just leads the 32 kids. There's 32 of us, and we split up into 4 groups of 8. And she just leads all of us into the projects and helps serve the community. Yeah, she can share more details about it. But
yeah, tell us more about it.
Great. Well, I didn't know I was going to be on camera. So the Ford Dream Builders program was actually started as Ford Dimension from Mikey Hay. Her dad is Jim Burke. For Jim Burke Ford, and they created an education foundation. It started out as Ford Dimension with 10 students. I think it was West High School back in the day. And they were focused on getting the students out there to learn about business and networking and how corporations are run, things like that. And as Bakersfield grew, this was 50 years ago that it started, as Bakersfield grew and more high schools were built, we had more amazing students, and they wanted to expand the program to allow 32 students to come in. And so we split them up into teams of 8, and their job is to create a unique community service project and give back to Bakersfield. So it teaches the kids how to interact and network and just kind of give back and what it means to be in service to others.
How do you coordinate it among all the different schools?
We accept applications from all of the schools. So they submit their applications to us, and I go around to every single high school and meet with the counselors and pick up the applications. And then we just kind of have to start whittling it down. And then we do an interview process. And so we get to know the students more. And then we have a second interview, and finally we whittle it down. So I think I interviewed about 120 kids this year. And now we have 32.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's amazing.
Good work.
Thank you.
Incredible work. That is incredible. And you raised $4,500. That's pretty cool. And what amount of time?
So it started around 11 a.m. and went to 1:30 p.m.
Really?
And we're still accepting donations.
What are you
now
charging? $12 a cup?
$2 a cup.
$2.
$2?
Free cookies and a free pin.
That's a lot of lemonade.
Yes, there's a lot of generous people that are just donating amount of money.
It is, as you will learn as you grow older, the single greatest thing about this community, that we are the most giving, charitable city that I have ever lived in or ever even come in contact with. It's the God's honest truth. Let's find out a little bit about you guys, since we're all seniors, correct?
Yes,
so where are we going to college?
I don't know yet, but the United States Coast Guard Academy is my number one.
Nice. Good for you. Good for you. Anthony, where are we going?
Right now, I'm not sure, but it's between a UC and a CSU. But where I'm going, hoping to apply in biology and major in biology and then focus in on genetics. And become a genetic engineer.
Really? Yeah. Good for you. And Mary?
I don't know where I'm going either.
None of you know where you're going to college?
No. But I want to do something in nursing. So any good nursing program, that's where.
BC got a great program. They really do. Get started.
Yeah, I aspire to go to UC San Diego for psychology.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, very good. Well, keep up the great work, guys. I really appreciate you coming in and all the work that you do for Honor Flight. Hope you'll be a part. We do a fundraiser in September for them. I've been on 7 different flights, and I wish you guys could grasp how it changes these men's lives. It really, truly does. And the reception that they get everywhere they go, even in DC, and the reception that you guys help provide when they come back, it changes their lives. Their families will tell you that grandpa's a different man because they're amongst guys that experienced the same thing that they did. And they never talked about it. But now that they're with guys that they can relate with, they talk about it and they come home different people. So you're doing an incredible service. You really are. Congratulations. Keep up the good work.
And we're still collecting donations on honorflightKernCounty.org. As long as you just go into the website, you enter your donation, and you say Lemonade 2026. It'll go and it'll say that it was contributed essentially through our lemonade stand, and it will benefit Honor Flight.
Nicely done. Are you doing anything for the next hour and a half? I could take off. You could just come sit here, you know. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Quick time out. Daniel Petrie at the top of the hour, and our good friend Manav Shah at 4:30. I would stick around if I you. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 AM 1230, and we're streaming live at kernradio.com. Nice job. That was great.
Kern
That was
Radio,
outstanding.
News Talk 96.1
Nice job.
and AM 1230,
Nice meeting you guys.
KERN.
Now, don't forget, tell your
First Look with
family.
Scott
They can
Cox,
go back
morning 6
and,
to 9 a.m.
On the Friday edition of the
Absolutely.
First Look program, we have the latest
Absolutely.
on Cassie Biddles running for the
get
third
behind
ward
this
in the city council. Go, Cassie, go. There's obviously World Cup news and not the stuff that you think. There's gigantic Taylor Swift news, and we have that in news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
You know, cybersecurity is a tremendous
after 6
issue
o'clock,
in the 21st century. We
to
talked
YouTube.
about this with Jennifer and Ryan Van
After 6
Alstyne,
o'clock, you can go to
owner
YouTube
operators
and
of
just punch in
Adaptive
Ralph
Networks,
Bailey,
the
and
IT
fast
company
forward
that
to
Kern
like
Radio
2:30,
Studios
watch
are powered by.
Just did.
And why did we get in bed
Yeah,
with
no
the folks at
problem.
Adaptive
No problem.
Networks?
Nice
Because
meeting
of
you
their
guys. You too.
reliability
You too.
and their quick service. Again, as I've talked about repeatedly, we're a radio station. We absolutely depend on our IT. We can't have somebody say, well, we'll be there tomorrow. We'll be there on Monday.
Yeah,
No. We need them here today. And that's why we've turned to the folks at Adaptive Networks, as you should as well. And again, as I talked about, cybersecurity is number one issue when it comes to IT. I've told you about the academic absolute hostage of their information. Well, Adaptive Networks can stave that off. And if they don't, they can retrieve your information without a ransom. Call the folks at Adaptive Networks today at 661-241-0638. That's 241-0638. Or hit them online at adaptive-net.com.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
It's what we were taught, trained, and told to do.
It could be for anything. Helping a friend move.
Listening to a fellow veteran for hours. At any hour of the day.
Or just simply making time for people.
Yeah, I guess so.
A neighbor, a loved one, or even a stranger.
I had a car.
We're often the first to help others. There's no question about it.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
Your senior year?
When was the last time you reached out for help?
Oh, they're going in.
Perhaps it's time to do for yourself what you would do for others.
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's
know
for
the son
stress,
before you're
finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Meet Paul Sheldon's client, Dr. Roland Rodriguez.
Hello, this is Bakersfield General Surgeon, Dr. Roland Rodriguez, client and friend of Mr. Paul Sheldon. It is my great pleasure and privilege to relate to all of you my absolute exemplary experience with Team Paul Sheldon. I have also referred a number of my colleagues to Paul Sheldon's office, only to receive the most stellar feedback from my doctor friends regarding the office's expert navigation through the complex maze that is Medicare. And even though Paul Sheldon himself is now facing some temporary health challenges, his long-standing and most experienced and expertly trained team of ladies, Christine, Kelly, and Lynn, continue to masterfully guide the clients through the complicated world of Medicare. You most definitely could not possibly do any better than to reach out to Paul Sheldon several months before turning 65. Thank you.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
I want to apologize to Mary, Lucia, Anthony, and Jacqueline. I forgot where we are. It's the summer. And I think they're going into their senior year. I thought they were like in the midst of their senior year. And I was like, you don't know where you're going to college? Nobody knows where they're going to college going into your senior year. I didn't find out. You don't get accepted until like the middle of the first semester. I know I remember I got accepted to, I applied. I was stupid. I applied to, it was like a competition at my high school. It really was. I applied to schools that I had no intention of going. I applied to the University of Pittsburgh because I heard it was a great journalism school. I went and I asked my advisor for 4 journalism schools. She gave me Sarah Wallace, my favorite English teacher. She gave me Syracuse, Texas, Northwestern, which I didn't have a chance in hell of getting into with my 2.8, and Pittsburgh. Those are the 4 schools she gave me. And she told me, you're not getting into Northwestern. But this is exactly what she said, white woman, as an African-American athlete, president of your senior class, give it a shot. And then she said, what are your SAT scores? And I said, well, they're kind of average, 1190. Yeah, why don't you try something else? But then I found out right before Christmas. That's why I didn't do my senior thesis, because all my acceptances and rejections came right before. So I went into my final semester at Brentwood just like, you can't touch me, because I'm either going to University of Texas or Morehouse College, one of the two. And obviously I ended up going to Morehouse. So of course they don't know where they're going. They should have balked back at me. Like, dude, it's the summer. I have no idea where I'm going to college yet. Settle down there, Dad. But the great kids, $4,500 selling lemonade. That's amazing. That really, really is. And that is much needed, because that's 3 veterans. And don't forget, our fundraiser is just a couple of months away. We'll be doing it in September. I should have showed them my honor flight picture up there on one of the honor flights. We've got a thing. Let me show it to you real quick. This was, I think this was honor flight 52.
Oh,
right there.
I couldn't tell you.
Right
Somewhere in that area. He's showing them the plaque that shows Ralph Bailey along with the entire honor flight.
Why, they can't hear me?
They can, but not really. It's just off in the distance, so might as well have somebody, narrating at the same time.
Since it is radio, I
Yeah,
guess we
you
do
never know.
need somebody speaking. But that's really exciting. That's really, really exciting that there's so many organizations and so many different groups and restaurants, Salties, and the folks up in Tehachapi. I know Steve Mills has a fundraiser that he does up there in Tehachapi. And again, ours is coming up in September, where we hope to raise $50,000, where I'm not sure, maybe Lily will text me during the show, but I'm not sure where the Desert Storm situation stands. It's kind of ambiguous now, because we were going to try to foot the bill for the entire exclusive Desert Storm trip, but there were some problems with that. So, but yeah, it's just amazing to see young people get involved like that. It gives you some hope. You know what I mean? It really does. It truly does. And the fact they're from 4 different schools and they've got this program going, that's really, really exciting. It really is. What do you got on the board? Anything before we get Mr. Petrie in here?
Yeah, I got a couple.
What do you got?
Rushing needs to go, and Chucky also made an excellent play at home, same night as his 2 hits.
He did. He made a nice tag and held on to the ball. You're right. I like Chucky. Speaking of the devil, Lily Marsh, please stand by. We are firming up details now. Looks like April 14, 15, most likely we are not allowed to fly them until after January 1st. All right, so September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. That's 7 months. Maybe we should back up the fundraiser to like September, October, maybe October, November, December, January, February, March, April. That's still a couple months away.
You can still do it and then just sit on the money.
Just sit on the money, just give it to, and just aim it for the April flight.
Because you don't want to get too close to the holidays.
True that. So yeah, we'll probably keep it in September. What else you got?
Fix this court, expand this court, and strip them of their power. Strip this court, Mark Kelly, 2028.
I don't understand that. Do you understand that?
I'm not sure. I'm sure he's talking about the Supreme Court, but I'm not sure
Clearly.
where this is coming from.
Yeah. They're going to pack the court. They're going to do it. And if decisions like today's doesn't convince you, I don't know what is. They're not going to. You really think Democrats are just going to put up with this, losing all these court cases? Trump's going to lose a few, and he's lost a couple last week, and he's going to lose birthright citizenship. I am convinced of that. It'll be 7-2. It'll only be Alito and Clarence Thomas, a Savannah boy, who will fight that. Otherwise, it should be 9-0. How in the world can you tell somebody born here that they're not a citizen here? That's just it's not even logical. And it's kind of in the Constitution, pretty much. One more. All right, now I guess we got to come on.
The reason they have to provide proof of citizenship is because dumb states like California gave illegals driver's licenses, so you can't use those like you would used to. Several blue states have done this.
Well, I think it's an overburden to ask somebody to come up with their birth certificate. I think if, you're right. What can you do about the idiocy of California? Providing licenses for illegal immigrants is contrary to everything that we do. It just doesn't make any sense. And again, that's why we need Steve Hilton. That's why we've got to circle the wagons. That's why we've got to have some massive turnout. That's why it's not enough for you all simply to vote in this gubernatorial race. It's not enough. It's not enough. You really have to be, each one of us has to be kind of a campaign worker. You know what I'm saying? Where you're on the phones and talking to people. Are you voting? What do you mean you're not voting? You have to vote. I'll take you. Come with me. I'm voting on Tuesday. Come with me. You've got to vote. We've got a chance here. You know what I'm saying? And you got to check on the elderly and make sure that they filled out their mail-in ballots correctly or whatever the situation is. It's not enough just simply to go down to Truxton and put in a mail-in ballot or vote on election day. The odds are against us. So we have to work harder than the Democrats. And, there are some people that will argue that what really can Steve Hilton or any Republican do in a one-party state? Well, it's the beginning. I always use the phrase, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And how do you overwhelm an overwhelmingly Democratic state? One election at a time. That's the only way we can do this. And we're going to have David Couch in the assembly, and we're making strides. And I think finally, California residents are beginning to realize the state is run horribly, and it's run by one party. So I don't know. Why don't we go across the street and see what the other fella's selling? Just for a change. It almost happened in Los Angeles, where an unknown, non-politician reality star damn near qualified. It's amazing. In a city with 75% Democrats. I mean, the numbers that Spencer Pratt, that's why there was no fraud, because the numbers that Spencer Pratt put up are amazing. He basically won just about every Republican vote in Los Angeles. And then people are still screaming Trump, and even some knuckleheads on this own radio station are screaming fraud, and that's a bunch of nonsense. And that's why the SAVE Act can't get the numbers that the Trump wants, because the SAVE Act is all about fraud, and it doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist. And if you ever listen to a radio talk show host who tells you that it does exist, then you should call that radio talk show host and ask, well, then how the hell did Steve Hilton get elected? If the Democrats have a mechanism where they can win, I always use the craps analogy. If you've got a pair of dice that you can say 7, boom, 7, 4, boom, 4, 13, boom, 13. If you've got that mechanism, why is it in the stall? Why don't you use it against Steve Hilton? Why didn't you use it against Donald Trump in 24? Why don't you use it every single time in every single election? The only people that claim fraud are the losers. Because I played you the audio of Steve Hilton who said, we didn't see one iota of fraud. The only Republican in the state of California who is saying there was no fraud was the only Republican winner. And do you know what this is really all about? The SAVE Act, the fraud in California from the president, fraud all over. This is for the midterms, and this is for 2028. Because is there anybody out there that believes that if Trump gets trounced in the midterms, he's not going to claim that it was fraud, that he's not going to claim it was stolen, that if J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio get beat in 28, that they're not going to claim it was stolen. This is all a buildup to 28. Quick timeout. Daniel Petrie is next.
Kern Radio,
I can't
AM
make this
1230,
walk.
KERN, 96.1
Funked up
FM,
my nice
Kansas
white
City,
shirt.
Bakersfield, an American General Media station.
Hour from Town Hall, I'm John Scott. We're just 9 days out from America 250 celebrations on the 4th of July, and gasoline prices are coming down a bit ahead of the massive holiday travel getaway. Correspondent Laura Withers with a report.
AAA estimates more than 72 million Americans will be on the move ahead of America 250 4th of July celebrations taking place in every state. As for getting there, 4.9 million will take a train or bus, 5.9 million are scheduled to fly, and more than 61 million expected to drive, which leads us to the price of gas, regular unleaded on average down to $3.92 a gallon. That's down from an average of $4.51 a gallon a month ago. Laura Winters reporting.
Venezuelans searching for survivors beneath collapsed buildings and rescue teams racing to the areas hardest hit by a pair of powerful earthquakes that rocked northern Venezuela, killing at least 188 people, trapping more than 200. 7.2 and 7.5 magnitude earthquakes that hit Wednesday evening were among the strongest in Venezuela in more than a century. Meanwhile, federal officials, they're moving quickly.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the United States is mobilizing to assist Venezuela following a devastating earthquake.
We're already deploying search and rescue teams from Fairfax County, Virginia, and Los Angeles. There'll be some others we'll add. That's the most immediate need right now is search and rescue efforts. They have a bunch of collapsed buildings, and so they'll need a lot of help in terms of digging through that.
More U.S. help is expected as recovery efforts continue. Willie Nelson, the White House.
The U.S. economy expanding at a solid and unexpected 2.1% annual pace from January through March. That's according to the Commerce Department. In its final estimate of first quarter growth, the growth in gross domestic product marked a rebound from a sluggish 0.5% in the last 3 months of 2025. More from townhall.com.
What if everything you thought you knew about online exploitation was only the surface? The shocking docuseries, Sexploited, rips the veil off the digital darkness, destroying lives. You'll be stunned by what's uncovered in these real stories. Watch the trailers, if you dare. Once you see it, you'll understand why silence is no longer an option. Visit salemnow.com and watch Sexploited in America. And visit sexploitedfilm.com.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250 micro to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
But I'm giving them money. I'm giving them dough.
Mortgage rates
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update.
He says the city needs to get a handle on its spending. I'm Chris Davis. That's after the Bakersfield City Council last night passed a budget of $926 million for the next fiscal year.
What do we do? Because next year's budget's going to come, and it's still going to be almost impossible.
I thought that was turnip.
It's been a hard year. We had to sacrifice.
What SUV is that?
I don't think we sacrificed a whole lot.
Ward 3 Councilman Ken Ware, the only one voting not to approve the budget, which had some last-minute additions for tree planting, paying for spaying and neutering of animals, and fire department costs. The trial for Delia Johnson will not begin this month, but more likely in October after a delay approved by the judge Wednesday in her August 2022 DUI case. Prosecutors say she caused the deaths of 2 people by driving drunk and rolling her car on August 27th of that year just after 7 p.m. on Lebec Service Road, and that she was twice the legal limit when that happened. In the drowning of the 12-year-old boy and the mauling of his 8-year-old sister 1 week ago in Cal City, the man who police say owned the dogs and was thus responsible is still on the lam. 68-year-old Kenneth Dobbins is 6'6" and 250 pounds and missing. The 12-year-old drowned when he jumped in a lake at Central Park to get away from the dogs that weren't supposed to be there. No downtown Bakersfield station for the high-speed rail. The High-Speed Rail Authority has nixed those plans, instead saying the station will be north of 7th Standard Road, and it may have to do with the instability of the ground where it had been planned on F Street, says Michael Turnipseed, the board chairman of the Kern County Taxpayers Association, talking to Bakersfield Now. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
To the rest of well, in a month from now, this Hollywood Big Shot's going to give you what you want.
Too late. They start shooting in a week.
I'm going to make him an offer again.
The Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Thursday, 25th day of June. This is the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 AM 1180. Ooh, I haven't done that. That's a first. That is a first. You know what happened? I was reading your microphone deal. That's exactly what just happened.
Oh, yeah, blame the microphone.
My eyes, I swear, my eyes were on your microphone, and I just instinctively read it. AM 1230 is our AM dial. Don't get it confused. And I almost wore my old AM shirt. Are we getting new shirts? Or do I have to like take a marker and make the one a 2?
Edge out the 180.
And that doesn't, and then stretch out, because you can make the 8 a 3.
Yeah, you can
just darken in the edges of the 8.
No, that's fair. All you have to do is make it,
No, it's ghetto. A couple of things. Shout out to Lisa. Thank you, Lisa, our traffic staff and associate producer, for bringing me some water. I appreciate that. And it's a Thursday, but we've moved Daniel Petrie up. Mr. Turnipseed will be back next Thursday. And Manav Shah is going to join us at the bottom of the hour. But first, we check in with the money man, Daniel Petrie. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Ralph. How are you?
I'm extremely well, thank you.
Oh, very good.
What is going on with your Celtics? Is
what are we doing?
Jaylen Brown? I thought it was going to be Jaylen Brown for Giannis, but he's now in Miami. So I think they're going to keep the band together.
Well, that wouldn't bother me at all, but will he be a little disgruntled? Like, what are you trying to get rid of me for?
Well, you still need a big man. So and the Knicks, believe it or not, are tearing apart that ball club. You might be able to get Karl Anthony Towns for Jaylen Brown.
Oof.
Yeah. Or if my producer was here, I could Jared somebody who's on the market as well.
It's odd because you would think like Jaylen Brown. I mean, he would conjure up he's a superstar.
Yes, he is.
So it's like, well, why are we getting rid of a superstar? And I guess the writing on the wall is that it's Tatum's team, not his team. So
I guess I'm a firm believer you never let a superstar walk out the door.
No, I would much rather have him and keep the band together and just try to upgrade.
Yeah, you got to get a rim protector.
Have we? I just hope we have, and I know Brad's good, and so is Missoula. So I don't think that they're going to burn bridges by, they'll just say, well, it's a business. We were shopping. It doesn't mean it was going to get done. And,
right.
We want you here.
And it's a business. We got to take offers. I mean, it's a business. We've taken offers. You'll probably tell them we've taken offers for Jason before.
And in a way, I heard they just kind of got into I'm sure they wanted the Greek Freak, but I think they kind of upgraded there to just make this may not be true, that they just wanted. Sometimes you want other teams to offer even more to make them that much weaker. But
I think my producer has returned. Chris, are you in there?
Uh-oh.
What's the big fellow that you said that the Lakers were going to try to get? Look at him. He's getting his lunch on.
Oh, I got to eat at some point. Jared Allen.
Jared Allen's a possibility for you guys.
Yeah.
But you got to get a rim protector. Whether if it costs you Jaylen Brown, I don't think Jaylen Brown for Jared is a fair trade. Maybe Jared and some draft picks, maybe. But you guys got to get a big guy.
Yes.
You cannot. We've learned
on the three so much.
Exactly. I was just going to say, we've learned from San Antonio that if you live by the three, you die by the three.
Yes.
Because the Spurs should be the world champions.
Yeah.
They really should be. They controlled. Do you know that they led
every game?
4 of those games with 2 minutes to play.
Ah.
And that they had 20-point leads in just almost every game of the series.
Yeah, in the first half, they were dominating.
Yep. Crazy. And then with a 20-point lead, you're still shooting threes instead of running the clock down to 5 seconds and taking a good 2.
It does let the other team in.
Absolutely.
You can't make them all.
Absolutely. It's crazy.
And it kind of played into the Knicks' hands because you got them running a little bit, and then they're scoring easy points, and then, you score, you don't mind playing more defense. All of a sudden they miss, and then boom, 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 it's under 10, and then you're like, hey, it's a game again.
And it's easier to make a stop shooting threes because there are no fouls involved.
Yeah.
Long rebounds. You can start running, and it's just they handed some of those games over.
The whole game changes.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Speaking of game changing, inflation is up yet again. What say you?
Yeah, it came in as expected, though. I think maybe, one of the prices was just a hair higher, but I think it was kind of a relief that it wasn't worse. You've seen oil now back, it was under 70 today. I don't know if that's where it closed. Gasoline should start flowing once, it takes a while for the high prices to work their way through the system. Because, what they're selling at the gas pump now is not what they, bought the gas at.
Yeah.
So,
might there be another jump given the Iranian attack on the Singapore cargo ship?
Yeah, there's been a couple things where I thought, oh no, it's all over. And hard to know what exactly is going on over there.
It really is.
It just seems like it's all over the map. And I saw where Israel said, we're not leaving Lebanon. And I thought, well, the whole deal's off then.
Exactly. And yet the Iranians are saying, we did not agree to take the $300 billion and buy American food, which is what J.D. Vance was screaming when he came back from Switzerland.
Right.
They're denying any of that.
And I read today that they are going, if the strait is open, that they're going to demand tolls.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, that can't, we're not.
$40 billion a year they think they're going to generate on tolls. And that we'd have to go back to war, because if that starts, that'll spread all around the world. Those are international waters, and we have to defend that. And if Western Europe doesn't get up off its lazy ass and help us, then we should cut off all ties with them.
It is an odd situation. I wonder if the people making those comments are the ones actually in the negotiation room.
Well, I talked about this yesterday. I think there are 3 groups. I think there are the puppet heads. I think there are the clerics. And then there's the IRGC.
Yeah.
And guess who's running things? The IRGC.
Yeah, well, it's not the good guys.
No.
Let's put it that way.
No, the clerics did not attack that cargo ship. That's
the
all.
hardliners seem to be running things. Yeah.
And I thought they didn't have any weapons. I thought we devastated them. I thought they didn't have an army. They didn't have a navy. They don't have an air force, blah, 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 blah. But yet they keep still attacking us. They keep still attacking Israel.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Well, because the president won't play it straight. He will not listen to my show or listen to me and just play it straight. Stop lying.
Yeah, and here I thought you were interviewing him tomorrow.
I did get offered Andrew Giuliani. I turned it down. I hope I didn't. You know who Andrew Giuliani is, don't you?
Yeah, I totally get that. But
he's a knucklehead. And he has something to do with FIFA.
Okay.
And so they wanted, I was like, well, thank you, but no, I hope I didn't ruin my connection. You think I should have just had him on just to have him on?
100%.
Hard to know.
I hate that kid.
I get
That's between you and the producer. Yes.
Do you remember him on, what was that golf channel that they used to have, that challenge? You remember what I'm talking about, where they get like 4 or 5 amateurs and they'd have
remember that.
They'd have go through skills, and the one guy that won got to go on the tour. Andrew Giuliani was one of those kids, and he acted like a fool. He acted like an absolute, it was like a reality show. You know what I mean? Where the one guy has to act crazy to draw the attention. Well, that was Andrew Giuliani. And he was a rotten little kid. And I don't know. And his dad is a criminal and a horrible human being. Yeah, I screwed up. I should have had him on.
Oh, he's the son of Rudy.
Yes.
Because when you said the name, I thought the only person I ever think of is Rudy Giuliani with that name.
Don't you remember the little kid that at Rudy's inauguration for mayor, he was all acting crazy and waving?
I do remember that.
He was a cute little kid, and then he ended up being a spoiled little brat. I don't know.
What does he do now?
He's part of the Trump administration. He is. You want to know what he does? Please stand by. I'll get you the text message where I said, no. Please stand by. Hang on. Don't go anywhere. We got plenty of time. So what was that? Kenny Barton, Deborah Leary, Karina, Monica, Nick Gome. Don't go anywhere, please.
I'm here. A special.
Here we go.
President. And
hey, Ralph, would you
director of the Office of Public Liaison?
Hey, Ralph, would you be open to hosting Andrew Giuliani, White House FIFA Task Force Director, ahead of the USA Turkey game in LA?
Ooh.
And I said, thank you for considering our show, but no, thank you. Yeah, I kind of blew that connection.
World Cup.
We haven't even talked about the World Cup. That's why I was like, I don't know anything about
stuff. I'm sorry. The stuff I was mentioning was during Trump's first term. I didn't even know he did all that during Trump.
What did he do in the first term?
He was special assistant to the president and associate director of the Office of Public Liaison.
So they made up a position for him.
Yeah, I was going to say whatever that means.
Yeah. They made up a position for him. Unbelievable.
Well, that's a favor to Rudy, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I might have screwed up a little bit. But it's amazing to me with all the tumult and chaos that the economy really, for statistically, is going pretty well, isn't it?
You would think it would be bad.
Yeah.
You would think as much as we hear about people struggling that it would be in much more dire straits. It is pretty amazing. And you had me fired up yesterday about your whole, my summary of the take was, yes, America has made mistakes, but it's the greatest country in the world, and the founders made that happen.
Yes, they did. And I don't think any other group of men could have pulled it off. I really don't.
No, I agree wholeheartedly. In fact, it took them running from what they hated in England to help create what we have.
Exactly. And I tried to explain their hatred for majority, which sounds weird, but they were exactly right.
Yeah.
Because if you get the wrong kind of charlatan, snake oil salesman,
paramount.
Yeah, he can get a mob going, and mob rule is dangerous as all get out.
Absolutely, because all of a sudden it means something that, hey, this isn't what I wanted when you guys talked to me, 6 months ago. You're crazy now.
Yeah.
But it's too late if they're in charge.
Yeah. Because the biggest example is World War II. People forget that December 6th, 1941, this country was greatly divided about going to Europe again. We were like, we just got back from over there. We're going back. We're going back now. Why are we their cop? Why can't they take care of themselves?
But when we did, we united.
Yeah, the next day. Well, yeah, the next day the Japanese made it. If you were able-bodied, you were going to sign up, period, end of sentence. In fact, you were shunned if you were a man. And if it was December 8th and you hadn't signed up, people were like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't be here, I don't think, if we didn't drop the bombs.
Really?
My father was stationed in the Philippines getting ready to march on the Japanese mainland if we didn't drop the bombs.
Yeah, you probably would not have been here.
Yeah, it would have been that would have been a miserable fight. We would have lost a lot of people,
and it would have gone on for
like
years.
Normandy all over again.
Yeah, it'd have gone on for years. It really would.
Oh, and I wouldn't be here.
And when people question when I say that, oh, you don't know that, Ralph. I say, do you understand something? Let me explain something to you. We dropped a hydrogen bomb on these people, and they said, go kick rocks.
Exactly.
We killed 100,000 people in a day. We destroyed a city
twice.
And they said, go kick rocks. And then when we did it again, they were like, okay, we get the message.
Yes,
we get the message.
We will, yeah.
Yeah, we can't take another one of these things, But I mean, to suffer a destruction of 100,000 people literally in minutes and still say the war is still going to go on. We're still fighting.
Well,
that's amazing.
Yeah, remember there was a Japanese soldier lost on an island somewhere for years. Still
thought it was going on. In fact, Sherwood Schwartz made a Gilligan's Island episode out of that.
I think
you remember that, where they find a Japanese
Gilligan's Island.
Gilligan is running around the island and he runs into this Japanese guy. He's like, "What?" And he still thinks the war is going on.
Yeah.
And of course, he gets off the island, and the rest of them don't. But that's another story.
But that patriotism and love for America makes me wonder, like, what is going on? I have three issues today with what's going on.
Yeah.
One is their kind of rush to socialism, or their, and I don't know if it's because they're the biggest fighters of Trump, and that's what we want. But it seems like the Democrats and everybody in my life, I don't feel like I've shifted right. I feel like everything else has shifted to the left.
No question.
Other things related to that are, why don't they love America and what it represents? Like you illustrated yesterday, or what my father fought for, almost gave his life for.
Do you want me to explain it to you?
And the hatred for, it seems like they want to give up on Israel. But yes, I would like your explanation now.
This generation, and maybe the generation before it, is going to be the first generation, perhaps in the history of the United States, that is not even going to come close to the success and the achievements of their parents. And because I examined some of the exit polls from New York.
Interesting.
And the socialists, the three socialists that won, did horribly with blacks, did horribly with the poor, did horribly with the Latinos. But you know where they cleaned up? White, college-educated 20 to 35-year-olds. Because those kids realize, I got a degree from Princeton, and I'm $125,000 in debt, and I'm never going to own the house that I grew up in Connecticut with 5 bedrooms and 3 baths and a pool. I am never going to own that.
But socialism doesn't make it better for them.
They think it does.
Worse.
They think it does. And it does for a little bit. It will for a little bit.
Just it makes them feel great.
Yeah, everything's free. But again, whenever we talk about this, I have to quote Margaret Thatcher. Socialism is great until you run out of other people's money.
Yeah, it's like eating 100 cookies a day feels great for a while.
Go look it up. They tried it in Missouri. They tried to do free transit, and it lasted 9 months. They ran out of money.
Well, you and I know that it's not, but I just, for the life of me, it makes me sad for what we have become.
You've got a very charismatic Zorn Memdani.
Yeah, I know.
Telling them we're going to give you free health care, we're going to give you free child care, we're going to give you free transit, we're going to get housing down. And to those, if you're 27 years old and you're living in your mother's basement with your college degree and your $90,000 debt, Zorn Memdani is your hero.
Universal basic income is coming.
It is, but it won't last long. It won't last long.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have the money now, but they'll just print more.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to fly, sir. I got a guest coming up. Always great to talk to you. Have a wonderful weekend.
Speaking of that, the debt went up almost 60 billion.
60?
almost double what the norm is.
Any cause?
I thought you'd like that. None that I can tell, just fluctuations. But you know where it's going to go in long term.
That's crazy. Almost
Up,
double,
my friend.
double from what we normally get each week.
Yeah.
That's frightening, Daniel.
I know, but we just spent half an hour talking about it. But for some reason, they don't. 2 and 2 equals 5 to them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. All right, so
Okay,
have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next
Likewise.
Thursday. All right,
Be
we'll
well.
see you. Daniel Petrie, Manav Shah joins us next. Don't go anywhere.
Kern Radio. News Talk.
Messmakers right here.
KERN. First Look with Scott Cox. Morning 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Friday edition of the First Look program, we have the latest on Cassie Biddles running for the 3rd Ward in City Council. Go, Cassie, go. There's obviously World Cup news and not the stuff that you think. There's gigantic Taylor Swift news. And we have that in news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 at AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Well, you just heard why Daniel Petrie is such an important part of this program. He's smart, he's funny, and he's incredibly well educated. And his economic knowledge is second to none. And of course, Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors have been a huge part of my life. It's the smartest financial maneuver I've ever made about a decade ago when I realized in the 4th quarter of my life, I didn't want to simply rely on my 401k. I didn't simply want to rely on Social Security. And now Daniel has taken that boulder off my neck and made me realize that I'm going to be okay in the 17th, 18th holes of my life. If you're considering retirement, call the folks at Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors at 395-9400, 395-9400, and his office is located right on the corner of 21st and Oak. Daniel Petrie, folks at Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice or a solicitation for advisory services by Daniel Petrie or MPWA Incorporated, DBA, Messmaker, and Petrie Wealth Advisors. The program host is a client and receives compensation and other financial benefits in connection with this advertisement, creating a conflict of interest. Experiences discussed may not be representative of other clients.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon?
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Hey, folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening to
Brian, why is my button not button? What do you got?
Why wouldn't giving illegals driver's licenses be somewhat of a good thing? Most work in the fields picking our food or doing jobs typically American citizens won't. A couple bad apples don't ruin a fruit tree.
Because they're not here legally. Period. That's why. So now they can vote, as the texter pointed out. That's ridiculous, which almost makes me want to support having to show your birth certificate to vote. In fact, I have changed my mind. You should have to show your birth certificate. It's not that big a deal. It cost me $40. Mine was in Georgia. got in 3 days. And again, it is racist of blacks. It is racist of blacks to try to suggest, like Sonny Hostin, that us poor, oppressed black people can't get our birth certificate or can't get an identification. It's 2026. This ain't 1965. You know what I'm saying? And nobody knows about rural life more than I do, where my family lives in Beaufort, South Carolina. Are you kidding? Quick time out. Manav Shah, U.S. Open participant, joins us next.
Current news. I'm John Scott. The U.S. government dispatching a disaster response team to Venezuela after deadly earthquakes, while also providing $150 million to relief groups working there. The death toll now at 188, which is expected to rise. A top official of the National Park Service says a liner along the bottom of the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool was cut with a sharp knife or razor this month, causing damage to the foam sealant installed as part of a $16 million rehabilitation project. In consumer news, Apple announcing an increase in prices for Macs and iPads, citing a memory chip shortage brought on by the artificial intelligence boom. The Cupertino, California-based company called the demand spike an unprecedented challenge for the consumer electronics industry. Analysts expect iPhone prices to rise later this year also. This is SRN News.
The following is a real-life story.
Current Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. Headlines from the KERN Newsroom.
I'm Chris Davis.
And there's no way that we should be spending money to come up with a $1 billion budget.
The objection to the city of Bakersfield's budget from Ward 3 City Council member Ken Weir. The council voted to pass the budget last night with some extra thrown in for planting more trees and spaying and neutering pets. Trial delayed until October for Delia Johnson in her August 2022 DUI case. Prosecutors say she caused the deaths of 2 people by driving drunk and rolling the car August 27th of that year just after 7 p.m. on Lebec Service Road, and that she was twice the legal limit when that happened. Gas in California on average is now $5.49, says Gas Buddy, $3.89 the national average. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
I'm here with Dr. Tarkesh from Affordable Dentures and Implants. Doc, how does digital dentistry improve the process of getting dental work done?
Digital dentistry is a cutting-edge technology that creates a
What's
highly
up,
accurate 3D scan of your mouth.
Good to see
It
you,
helps
man. How you
make
been?
a more precise and
Good.
efficient
See.
treatment. For example, with implants,
Yeah?
this can allow us to plan procedure down to the smallest detail,
Yeah,
which in
we,
return
had a
speed up the
fire.
process,
So our
reducing
boss
the time patients spend in surgery.
And who is a good candidate for the implants?
Almost anyone missing teeth, as long as the patient has enough bone to support the implant or can undergo a bone graft. Implants are a great option. We always do a thorough evaluation to make sure
So
the
how
implants
was
are
it,
the
man?
best solution for each patient's unique needs.
Get the smile you've always wanted without anxiety at Affordable Dentures and Implants. Dr. Nozar Tarkesh, who specializes in implants
So how
with
was it,
IV
man? That was
sedation.
stand-up
Visit
Birdie
them
on
online at
18's
AffordableDentures.com. Affordable Dentures
Your
and
reaction
Implants.
was great.
That's what we do.
Happy,
Go ahead and
surprised.
smile.
It really was.
First Look with Scott Cox.
What was that
Morning
course
6 to 9 a.m.
On the Friday edition of the First Look program, we have the
Yeah.
latest on Cassie Biddles running
Yeah.
for the
Yeah,
third
on the
ward
side,
of
or
the
just
city
grab
council.
another
Go
chair.
Cassie, go. There's obviously World Cup news and not the stuff that you think. There's gigantic Taylor Swift news, and we have that in news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
For those that are watching on YouTube, you can see that we've been joined by the U.S. Open participant, the man that shot 73-74 on consecutive days and missed the cut by three shots. Manav Shah, BCC Pro, is with us. How are you, sir?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah? So, tell us all about it. I don't even have any questions. I just want you to ramble and tell us about the experience. I'd move up here.
Well, so I got in Saturday.
Yeah.
Official practice round started on Monday, right? So Saturday, Sunday, you kind of had the place to yourself a little more. It felt pretty intimate. There were only maybe 10 or 15 pros there, so we're all kind of doing our own thing and stuff. And grandstands weren't filled yet. So I was like, this is cool. We're getting some practice rounds in, and then I get there Monday morning, and all of a sudden it's
massive.
20,000 people. People are zipping around everywhere. There's 156 players walking around, so it's like turned into a zoo pretty quick. So that was pretty interesting to kind of adjust. Kind of took me that day a little bit, and then Tuesday I was fine.
Yeah. Who did you play practice rounds with?
I was supposed to play with Tommy Fleetwood on Monday, but his flight got delayed coming from Canada the week before. So I talked to him when we're having lunch. He's like, "Yeah, dude, I'm just gonna walk the course and relax today. Sorry." I was supposed to play with Tommy, but I ended up playing with Jake Knapp all 3 days.
Jake Knapp, who's played in the BC Open.
He's played in the Big Show Open.
Yeah.
I went to college with him for 3 years, so it was good.
UCLA.
Good to catch up with him and get 3 rounds in with him.
Yeah, because I forgot that. I knew you went down to San Diego, but I forgot you finished at UCLA.
Yeah, my last 3 years were at UCLA.
And talk about some of the players you played with as a Bruin.
So the notables, Patrick Hanley,
Yeah.
Tour obviously, and Jake Knapp, who's had a good run the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So who's on your bag?
I had Ricky Clay, my man Ricky from Long Island, local caddy from Shinnecock. I tested him when I went 3 weeks ago, and we just hit it off right away. He's cool like me, chill. Kind of didn't make the moment big than what it was, and he knew the greens better than everyone there. So pretty easy fit with Ricky. Yeah.
Was that the hardest part of the course, the greens, and just trying to read them and just?
It's hard because like it doesn't give you anything. Like there's only one real birdie hole that like you should birdie.
Right.
Hole 5, the par 5. Other than that, you got to hit a really good golf shot to have a look at birdie, which I hit quite a few really good golf shots and just didn't convert, or I think I made 2 birdies on the week, pretty close by each other, 3 and 5 on round 1. But I mean, I had a ton of looks. I hit it great. I played the game I wanted to play. My goal going into it was express my game out there, let my talent come out, play the game how I want to play, which is fun, free, relax, and just, fire away at targets. I'm proud to say I did that. I didn't bail out anywhere. Or the moment wasn't too big. I wasn't like rattled by anything.
Yeah. Did you hit a lot of fairways on the first day?
I think I saw the stats. I was so I don't hit it that far now, but I was still
just 300.
I was still
300.
I was still 26 in total driving round 1.
That's not bad.
It's pretty good.
That is damn
because like
good.
usually to be in the top 20, you got to hit it, 190 ball speed, one like 85 ball speed. But I was top 26 at 170 ball speed, which just goes to show you how many fairways I hit. And I was in position most of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who'd you play with that first Thursday? Because you went off last, didn't you?
My tee time was 2:45, and it was a 2-hour fog delay in the morning, so I got pushed back to 4:45.
How does that impact you?
That was rough, and I woke up and I was like,
ready to go.
I'm like ready to play the U.S. Open, and they're like, yeah, you don't tee up till 5 almost. I'm like, well, what do I do all day?
Yeah.
So I just hung out. I stayed as loose as I could.
And you're not going to finish your round.
You're not finishing, and I knew it was going to be a quick turnaround. I played 11 and a half holes, so I had a putt on the 12th hole that I didn't want to hit because it got pretty dark and the greens were kind of bumpy.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to come back in the morning on fresh greens, which paid off. I think that was my first birdie of the week.
You came out and made that shot?
Came out and made it. It was like a 17-footer with like 3 feet of break.
And you thought about it all night.
All night. I read it in my head. I'm like, all right, we're gonna go out there and make that one tomorrow.
That's outstanding.
And I birdied the hole next to the next hole after that. So got off to a good start, but it was tough being done at 8:30 Thursday night.
Yeah, no kidding.
Having to get some food, get to bed, and be up at 4 to go tee off at 6:35 the next day and play 24 holes.
Wow. What's the pre round routine like? So you get up, you have breakfast. How early do you get to the course?
I'm not hungry when I wake up either, but my nutritionist is like, you gotta get something in you.
Yeah.
So I try to get some oatmeal and something easy to
avocado or something
easy to digest right away.
Yeah.
A little smoothie, something like that. So I did that like 4:30, and then got to the course, warmed up the body, did a bunch of mobility stuff, hit a few balls like I always do, hit some putts and chips, and go rip it.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you work out during tournaments?
It's not like a workout where you're like weightlifting and stuff, but it's like a mobility, make sure everything's loose and kind of firing. So like a lot less reps and a lot more faster twitch stuff.
Yeah. Do a lot of players do that? Get into the training facility?
Yeah. So we all share the same gym, and my routines looked, in my opinion, better than everyone else's. But but everyone's doing the same type of stuff, like fast twitch and activations and hip mobility and T-spine stuff. So
Yeah. And
everyone's pretty dialed in. There's so much information out there now, and all these guys I've noticed, they all have their own team with them. So everything's pretty like you can kind of just close your eyes and go through your whole week.
Yeah. What's a team made up of?
So you got a trainer
to
get you right physically.
Right.
You got a coach to basically just make sure your swing is what it should be and you're not kind of getting off track. And then you got usually your caddy you travel with, a wife. Some people bring a mental coach, some don't. And some sort of like if you're really high up, they bring their own physio. So the US Open provides like USGA physios, but some of the top players in the world have their own physio that knows their body better, that bring their own physio.
Yeah. Did you have all of that?
And the agent.
And the agent. Did you have all that?
So my wife wore a lot of caps. She was the agent, she was the manager, she was the mental coach.
Nice.
She did all those things well. But I had don't really have a coach. I kind of been like self-taught my whole life, but I have definitely have people that know my game well. And my childhood coach flew out just for the vibes, and it was always our dream as kids to go to a major. So he obviously came out, and it was cool.
That's incredible. So you shoot a 73, and you got to be thinking, I'm going to make the cut. And then you get to the scoreboard and you look, there's one guy at 6. How did that must have been like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, well, because
without him, you make the cut easy. Am I right about that?
No, so it's based on 65 total players and ties.
Oh, is that right? It's not based on 10 shot?
It's not 10 shots.
Oh, okay.
10 shot is for if it's all bunched up.
Right.
And 65th is like 4 off the lead or something.
Right.
Then they'll go to 10 shot.
Okay, but it's just 65.
But it's either or. Yeah. If you're within 10 or top 65 in ties.
Okay. So you wake up Friday. What are you thinking? I got to shoot what to make the cut?
In my head, I thought the number was going to be 5 over.
That's what I thought too.
So I was at
3. That's what I told Chris that.
Well, I
said he's going to make it.
After the 3 holes I played in the morning, I was at 1 over total.
Wow.
Because I was 3 over after my 11 holes.
Yeah.
Made 2 birdies. So I was at 1 over with 4 holes left.
And what happened?
Hole 6 is so hard. I mean, I had a driver 5 wood.
Tell us what is it? Par 4, par 5?
Par 4. It's like 520 yards straight into the wind.
520 par 4.
Straight into the wind. So it plays
wow.
away. So I hit a pretty good drive. I had like 225 to the pin, but it's blowing 20 into the face. So
right.
I played it about 250. So I had a 5 wood, which is usually what you would hit into a par 5, and just barely miss it in the greenside bunker. Hack it out to like 8 feet, burn the edge. So it's like I didn't really do anything wrong. It's just a hard hole, and if you make 8-footer, you make par.
Right.
And then hole 7 is the Redan hole, they call it. It's the hardest par 3, I think. There. The green slopes like
it falls off. Yeah,
left,
saw so many players.
A lot of people land on the green, roll.
Yes, it's like, oh, that's a great shot. Wait a minute, and then you hear Dan Hicks or somebody. That's gone, and he knows it. Right, it's still on the green, and Hicks is telling us, forget about that, and it rolls off and you're chipping.
And it was so windy, so the wind like accentuated the slope because the slope goes right to left, and the wind was humming off the right. So you gotta work it against the wind to get any sort of chance to stay on the green, right? So I did a pretty good job of that. I landed, I think I landed 20 feet left of the pin on the green with a 7-iron, and I thought it was going to stay on, and then I see it rolling, and the crowd, you can hear them. They're like, oh. And I was like, oh, there it goes in the bunker.
Wow.
So then I hit the bunker shot back into the wind, right? Because I'm going kind of sideways, and I hit.
Which is better.
And I knew I had to fly it all the way there because it was like straight up the hill. So I flew it past the hole actually, but the wind added some spin on it. So it lands past the hole, sucks back off the green, back into the bunker.
No.
Which felt like 2 minutes for the ball to come back because it was just rolling. And then I ended up making a 20-footer for bogey to kind kind of salvage.
Save it, yeah.
And then finish par to shoot 3 over. So
Yeah.
like, it's just a hard golf course.
Hey, do you remember, Chris, what Nick Ragone's question was? I totally forgot. Our golf expert had a question for you. Was it a good learning experience for you?
Yeah.
I mean, how'd you walk away feeling?
I kind of walk away, after I made that birdie on 18, just looking back, like I don't have any regrets on how I prepared or on how I played. My mental was great. The way I handled the first tee shot, so 5 o'clock, hole 10, round 1, right?
What's that like? I mean, are your hands shaking?
So I didn't know how I was going to react because I'm like, I've never teed off in front of that many people before,
right?
Especially at a U.S. Open, the highest stakes there is, right? But I had probably 30 people that came just to see me, so they were all loud, right? But there's like a grandstand. There's a really good video of it somewhere. There's a grandstand behind the tee box.
Right, I saw it.
And it's 5 p.m. in New York, Long Island boys, right? So my high school coach goes.
Meaning they're drunk as hell.
Meaning they're drunk as hell, exactly. High school coach likes to have a good time. He goes in the crowd and he's like, all right, when he tees off, we're going to be as loud as possible. So they call my name for Bakersfield, California, Manav, Shah, and it's just like Kobe hit a game winner. And I was like, oh, how am I supposed to hit this down the fairway right now? Like, I can't even walk into the ball. Like my feet are frozen.
Really?
But I step in there and like you can see it on the app. I ripped like the best 5 wood I've ever hit in my life, and it carries about 265. Catches it downslope and rolls out to like 320 straight downwind. And I'm like, that's when I was like,
I can do this.
I'm not gonna have any nerves are gone. I'm ready to rock. Like, let's go battle this thing.
Good.
So yeah, it's probably the way I handled that moment. And then every shot, I wasn't really nervous. I was just, in a way, it taught me that in the higher the situation, I'm able to be calmer and focus more because there's so much going on around you. But I was able to kind of block everything out and just stay within the ropes and focus on hitting it 1 shot at a time. So walking away, I learned that, God, if I had 25 weeks like that a year, I have no doubt that I could play out there full time.
Yeah, there's no question.
It's just hard when it's your first one, and it's the only one that you've had all year, and there's no guarantee on what's next. But most of the guys that miss the cut, they're just playing in Connecticut right now for $20 million again.
Yeah.
So it's like it's pretty easy to bounce back and just catch a flow.
Yeah. Manav Shah is our guest. He qualified for the U.S. Open, shot a 73-74, barely missed the cut. So now what? What's next?
Yeah, I think there's going to be some opportunities that come up. I'm getting some traction here with how I played. The local support's been great. There's a bunch of tours around the world. I'm going back to Asia end of August, so I'll have 10 events down there. But before I leave, I want to have a few more cracks at qualifying into some tour events and see what I could do there.
What do you think of the new setup for the PGA?
Yeah,
the Challenger group and the upper echelon group.
It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I think it's great. Initially looking at it, we don't really know the full details yet. But because right now it's only 70 guys that play in the high events.
Right.
So that's going to 120, which automatically gives 50 more guys a chance to compete for 20 mil. But now you can't do that and the Challenger Series. So there's 144 more guys in the Challenger Series. So there's way more jobs open, I think.
Right. That's why I asked.
And yeah, they're only playing for 4 mil, but 4 mil is still a substantial amount of dough to play for. So
don't go on Skippy.
And I think it's cool because then you truly earn your way into the signature events, and there's no more sponsor invites into the higher events. So it's truly merit based now after a full season of out of the 120. I think they said they're keeping 90 or 80.
Yeah.
They're gonna put 20 guys from from track 2. They're calling it.
Right.
So I think it's the fairest system that they could come up with right now.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you got Corn Ferry Tour with that's still going to be there. That's going to feed into what I'm assuming is the Challenger Series. So I think as far as the pathway to progression goes, it's going to be a good move.
How do you get on the Corn Ferry Tour? Can we see you there?
So, I got to come back. The last 2 years I've been playing in Asia, so I didn't come back and do the qualifying for Corn Ferry. But I played Corn Ferry in 2023. Didn't keep my car there, so I ended up in Asia. But with how life has gone and family planning and stuff, I want to come back and play in the States. So I'm going to come back and do the Q School for Corn Ferry in the fall.
Nice. So now what? What are you up to? Just trying to relax and just trying to.
Yeah, it's
what's the routine like? Do you have to, even when you're just trying to be comfortable, do you still have to hit balls every single day?
I put in so much work the month leading up to it where I'm like, I need to decompress a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like you build up, I had 3 weeks to build up. The hype was there. The event was so grand. It's going to take me like a week to decompress from it and kind of get over the dust settling and then moving on to what's going to come next. So I started putting yesterday. I'll probably hit some balls tomorrow. Kind of get back into the flow of things.
One of the great things that's come out of this is your relationship now with Hard Rock Cafe Casino. They're your new sponsor. That's got to be pretty exciting.
Very exciting, yeah. Chairman Octavio is a member at Vegas Country Club. Jimmy also is up there. So that's going to be a good year-long partnership for me, the community, everyone involved. Just to have a foot in the door at Hard Rock Casino is going to be big. Yeah.
Okay. And really, one of the most important questions I have, I'm having a problem getting out of the bunkers. No, I'm kidding. I'm telling the truth, but we'll talk about that off the air.
Meet me at BCC for that one.
Doggone Skippy. Well, it's good to see you, man. We're so happy for you. We're so proud of you. And if you guys have not seen him make the birdie on his 54th hole, the 18th hole, you can go to my Facebook. I know Jim Scott posted it. I know Paul Guerra posted it. I know Patty Guerra posted it. Yeah. I know the guys at BCC posted it. You'll find it somewhere on Instagram and on Facebook. And I'm telling you, dude, you handled it so well. You made the putt, and then he kind of gives it a look like, now it goes in. And then you smiled and tipped your hat. You handled yourself with class. You made us all proud. And as I've told my audience, we're going to see you on TV one day. We really are. Yeah. Nicely done, Pop. Congratulations. Thank you, Ralph. Manav Shah, everybody. Quick timeout. We still got lots to do, headed toward the 5. You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1, AM 1230, and we're streaming live at kernradio.com. Nice job. That was great, man. Appreciate you.
And just, Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
Play this weekend?
First Look with Scott Cox, morning 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Friday edition of the First Look program, we have the latest on Cassie Biddles running for the third ward in the city council. Go Cassie, go. There's obviously World Cup news and not the stuff that you think. There's gigantic Taylor Swift news, and we have that in news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. Right here at News Talk 96.1.
I get why.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Hey, it's that man again for Sangera Subaru. You know, the world's biggest tournament is here. And this summer, Sangera Subaru is bringing all the excitement home. So they're kicking it off with some incredible offers on new Subarus all month long. Right now, lease a 2026 Outback Premium CVT for $229 a month for 36 months and $5,014 due at signing. Plus, every Subaru comes standard with symmetrical all-wheel drive. So don't miss your chance to drive something new during soccer's biggest event of the summer, going on right now at Sangera Subaru. So stop by, see my good friends Damon Copus and Hassan Levy, and test drive a brand new Subaru. Sangera Subaru, paving the way for a better community. 5500 gasoline alley drive in the Bakersville Auto Mall.
Lease 2026 Subaru Outback Premium CVT with TSRP $37,287, $229 per month plus tax for 36 months. Total lease payments $8,855, $5,014 total due at lease signing. Includes first month payment, excludes tax, title, license, and $85 document fee. Total lease cost $13,869, excludes tax and fees, no security deposit. Lease based on 7,500 miles per year, 50 cents per mile over. Available to qualified customers through Subaru Motor Finance on approved credit. Expires June 30, 2026. Excludes optional equipment and dealer installed accessories. VIN number TY514370.
Like that. I was like, hell no.
Most people out here think that taking care of one another is important.
And then I leave it right there.
And most people would step up for a neighbor going through a tough time. Most people around here help out friends and family when they need it. But the funny thing is, most of us won't look for help when we need
but you got to see it.
If you're struggling with mental health, you should know that there are resources out there that can help. And it's okay to talk about it if you need to. One place to get started with information is loveyourmindtoday.org. LoveYourMind.org offers a range of guides, instructions, and insights for dealing with difficult situations or getting through a tough time.
That was good advice.
If you're struggling with mental health, get the help you need.
That was good advice. Swing as hard as you can.
Because most people out here really care.
Because I'd rather fly it.
Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day. No one can beat us, no one can touch us. You won't find better prices. Shop and compare, we don't care. Take a look our way and come into Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Pet stains on your carpet? Carpet Outlet Plus has everything you need to make your floors pet-proof. With over 100 in-stock waterproof floors, Carpet Outlet Plus can solve your pet problems for good. We also stock over 50 colors of pet-perfect carpet. Call, click, or come by today for your free in-home estimate. Don't forget, for the do-it-yourselfer, we also offer free next-day delivery on all qualifying stock floors. And as a bonus, go to carpetoutletplus.com and apply for 12 months no-interest financing. Carpet Outlet Plus, 3.5 blocks west of 99 on Rosedale Highway.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening to the Ralph Bailey Show right here on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
You won't do for love. You tried everything, but you're give up. In my world, are you? Is that close? No. 842-537-61. Thank Manav Shah for joining us. Good kid, great kid. I'm telling you, you're going to see this kid on the weekends. You're going to see him play. I think he's going to get on the Corn Ferry Tour. I think he's going to qualify for Corn Ferry. I think he's going to win once or twice in the Corn Ferry. Then he gets on the Challenger. I think he's going to win a couple times in the Challenger. And then we'll see him on network television. He's got a great game. He really does. And there are a lot of great players up at BCC. But I think Manav is just different. He's just, you remember him chipping in on the final hole to win the BC Open a couple of years ago. And like I said, just go to Facebook, go to my Facebook, go to Paul Guerra, Patty Guerra, Jim Scott. Everybody posted. In fact, when I played Sunday up there, Saturday, and they were showing it in the bar. Guys were showing each other his final putt. It was about a 20-footer, and he made it. It just kind of looked like, now I make a putt. And they just smiled and tipped his hat. And a lot of folks from BCC traveled to New York to see him. Some of the members, a lot of the members went up there to go see him. But he's a good kid, as all the pros up at Bakersfield Country Club are, with Jim Park, Jared Kaneshita, and Cameron, and all those guys. They're just really, really good kids. And you know what I've always said? I truly believe this. If you grow your child in the game of golf, they have an extra knowledge of how to act, how to behave, etiquette, decorum, because that's golf. And if you don't have decorum and etiquette, you'll be out. You saw what happened to Joaquin Newman, acted like a fool, and they gave him a 2-stroke penalty. One of the reasons that nobody likes Wyndham Clark is because a couple of years ago, he tore up a locker in the locker room. It wasn't even on the course, just acted crazy. There is a definite level of etiquette and decorum. And the fact that you have to be honest, that there are a lot of times that you're by yourself and the players can't see you, and you could move the ball if you wanted to, or you could claim that you made 4 when you made 5, and people have to believe you. So there is an honesty factor. You have to be true to yourself, or if you're not being true to the game. And it's the only game that I can think of where you literally call penalties on yourself. And you don't even have to know golf to know that. If you watched, what's the Matt Damon movie? Bagger Vance, where he's about to hit the shot and the ball oscillates. And if the ball moves while you're addressing it, even if you don't touch it, but you're addressing the ball, like I'm about to hit this shot and my ball rolls over, that's a penalty. And you got to call it on yourself. That's another reason why nobody likes Patrick Reed, the kid from Georgia, because we've caught him on more than one occasion cheating, where he was in a bunker and he was taking his club back and his club graced the sand. That's a penalty. It wasn't intentional. He wasn't trying to improve his lie or anything. But if you, Vijay Singh, it happened to Vijay Singh once, where he got lazy and he just happened to be leaning on his club in a bunker. Penalty. Your club, if you're in a bunker, your club cannot touch that sand until you hit the ball. And if it does, if you just happen to rest, if you're getting ready for the shot and you look down and you accidentally rest your club in the sand, penalty. So you grow up, if you grow up in the game as a youngster, with a sense of honesty and etiquette and decorum. And I'm telling you, of my friends, kids who played golf, they all have that sense. You have to have an attire. You know, you've got to, Bakersfield Country Club, Jim Park will call you aside and say, tuck in your shirt, please. This is a country club. You know what I'm saying? But you're going to see Manav Shah on television one day. I guarantee it. Quick time out. We head into the final hour of the broadcast. You're listening to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 AM 1230, and we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio, AM 1230, KERN, 96.1 FM, K241CI, Bakersfield, an American General Media station.
This hour from Town Hall, I'm John Scott. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the State Department and Pentagon will work together to provide humanitarian aid to the people affected by dual earthquakes in Venezuela.
We've already stood up our disaster response teams at the Department of State and our humanitarian efforts. It's something we did very well in Jamaica after that storm, and it's something we're really prepared to do now. So I already spoken to Secretary Hegseth. The Department of War is going to have to play a big logistical role here because they have the ability to land in challenging places.
The death toll at 188, which is expected to rise. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says alligator Alcatraz closing.
A quickly built tent detention center built in the Florida swamps processed about 21,000 people. Federal officials say they no longer need the extra capacity because they now have more permanent facilities.
But it served its purpose for the time. Now that they have resources, it is the federal government's responsibility to be able to process these folks, right? We stepped up because there was a gap.
Immigration advocates criticized the center for unsafe and inhumane conditions. Detainees reported issues like poor access to lawyers, unsanitary conditions, and insect infestations. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
A top official at the National Park Service says a liner along the bottom of the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool was cut with a sharp knife or razor this month, causing damage to the foam sealant installed as part of the $16 million rehabilitation project. The Supreme Court has struck down a Hawaii law requiring people to get permission to carry guns into places such as stores and hotels. That decision is the High Court's latest ruling backing Second Amendment rights. President Trump's administration opposed the law. More on these stories from townhall.com.
How many times are you going to walk into that outdated bathroom and think, I really need a bathroom makeover? Stop putting it off and transform your bathroom and your life in as little as one day with a beautiful, affordable shower makeover from Jacuzzi Bath Remodel. Choose from custom designs tailored to your budget and style, including safety-focused features for beauty and peace of mind.
I've had a great experience from start to finish. The crew that came in, they were so professional. This looks like a marble, beautiful, new shower, and it was done all in one day.
Right now, we're waiving all installation costs, plus offering no interest and no payments for up to 1 year. Call now to schedule your free design consultation and quote. Call 800-384-3371. That's 800-384-3371. 800-384-3371. With purchase and installation, financing through third-party lenders, subject to credit approval. No interest and no payments if paid in full within 12 months. Charge from purchase date if not paid in full. Not all will qualify. Call dealer for details.
I appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your show. I'm sure you're
President Trump is kicked
from the KERN newsroom. Your live and local news update.
The only one who voted against it. I'm Chris Davis.
This is basically a $1 billion budget.
Bakersfield City Council member Ward 3 Ken Ware voting against approving the city budget for the next fiscal year.
There's no way that we can survive with that kind of spending.
The city is spending $926 million taxpayer dollars with cuts of about $13 million, but some last-minute additions for spaying and neutering pets, planting more trees, and more money for the fire department. In Cal City, 68-year-old Kenneth Dobbins still has not been found, and you might think that he would stand out at 6'6", and 250 pounds. He's the man wanted for having the dogs that attacked a 12-year-old boy and his 8-year-old sister 1 week ago at Central Park on Heather Avenue, with a girl having to go to the hospital and the boy jumping in a pond to get away from the dogs, where he drowned. Police want Dobbins on several charges. Several vehicles were damaged in what Shafter police say was a vandalism incident, which happened Wednesday morning, and the cops are now asking anyone who may have surveillance video who is willing to provide it to help in the prosecution to bring it to them. The vandalism was in the area of Redwood and Manav Avenues, and Shafter police say they arrested 3 juveniles whose names will not be released because of their ages. Plans to build a station in downtown Bakersfield for the high-speed rail project have been scrapped, according to the High-Speed Rail Authority, but they are not offering an explanation at this point. Instead, the station is now being planned for a site north of 7th Standard Road. Michael Turnipseed, the board chairman of the Kern County Taxpayers Association, tells Bakersfield Now he believes it has to do with the sand and dirt at the location not being stable enough. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Welcome to the rest world. In a month from now, this Hollywood Big Shot's going to give you what you want. Too late. They start shooting in a week. I'm going to make him an offer again with you.
The Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this Thursday, 25th day of June. This is the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, where we're streaming live at KERNradio.com. We still got lots to do in the final hour. I'll tell you what's going on with Dalton Rushing and why there's a little schism between he and Shohei Ohtani. Dodgers have the day off, and we are off to our arch rivals. Forget about the god-awful stinky smellies. And by the way, Turnipseed's not here today. I forgot. Because don't we have a bet that this college coach is going to get whacked before the All-Star game? No? We didn't take. I thought we had a bet on that.
I don't remember.
Because I think that guy's got hours to go. You see that what happened with what's the kid from Boston they got?
Rafael Devers?
Yes. You see what happened with him? Your mic's off.
I heard something popped off again, but
it's the bottom of the ninth. They're down a run or they're tied. He gets a walk. And while he's a great hitter, you want him up in that position because maybe it's a solo home run to tie it or to win it, but he walks. And he's not the most fleet of foot. So, quite naturally, this collegiate coach, for the first time, I don't think it's ever happened in baseball, where Buster Posey, who I think is an idiot. I hate Buster Posey. Because Buster Posey is the reason we have this new catching rule where you can't block the plate because Posey broke his leg on the play at the plate, and that changed everything. They should call it the Posey rule. There's a joke there, but I'm not going to touch it. But anyway, and he signed this college coach to coach the Giants, and they're like 77 games out of first place, and there's problems in the locker room, and Devers was going to be replaced with a pinch runner, and he literally waved the guy off. No, I'm not coming out. I mean, is there any more disrespect you can give to your manager than saying, no, I'm making the decisions around here. I'm going to run in the bottom of the ninth to score the winning run. And he waited, and the kid, the poor rookie's like the fastest kid on the team. He's like, what the hell do I do? And finally, Devers went out, and he's apologized today, but he's trouble. He was trouble in Boston. Remember that? Don't forget about Boston, where he refused to play. What, he refused to play first base?
Something like that. He wanted
to third baseman, and he wanted to play third, but they wouldn't want. They had a third base, wanted to move him to first, and he didn't want to go. And He basically talked himself out of Boston and then ended up with the god-awful stinky smellies. He's causing problems there. So we'll talk about that as well. But in the meantime, the Iranians are still waging war despite a so-called 60-day ceasefire, despite the fact that we've lifted sanctions, despite the fact that they're making millions a day today, yesterday, selling oil. Some 56 ships went through the strait, but they are controlling it. And they took out a Singapore cargo ship, which can have nothing but horrible impact on the strait, because now, if you're one of these insurance companies or if you're one of these shipping companies, do you really want to roll the dice and lose one of your ships? That's millions upon millions of dollars if they attack one of your ships. And I thought the president told us that we controlled the Strait of Hormuz. I thought the president told us their Army, their Air Force, their Navy, they have no capabilities, that they have no more missiles. Meantime, they're still lobbing missiles in the name of Hezbollah. They're still funding them, their proxy. And they're still attacking ships in the strait. While, by the way, did I mention that they're making millions of dollars selling oil to China? That we lifted the sanctions. And that they stated today that the $300 billion that J.D. Vance came back like a cheerleader and said, well, they're going to be investing it in American soybeans and corn and selling it to their people. And I don't know who it was, but I'm pretty sure it was a black freckle-faced man who told you, do you honestly believe that a regime that would kill tens of thousands of its own people would take blood money, essentially, and instead use it to feed their people? I mean, does that even make sense to a ninth grader? That Ralph Bailey is willing to kill his family, but Chris Burdick is willing to give me money to feed my family. Huh? What? Yeah, Ralph, I know you killed 3 of your sisters, but you still got your mom, and I trust that you're not going to kill anybody else, so here's some money. Thanks, Chris. Guess what I'm going to do with it? I'm a psycho nut job who wants to see Israeli off the map, wants to see the United States off the map, but I'm going to take the $300 billion you gave me and spend it on food. Is there anybody, and I do mean anybody, that honestly believes that for a millisecond? Because the president certainly does. J.D. Vance is running around telling us that that's what's going to happen. But guess who told us that's not going to happen? The Iranians. Now, they could be lying. Marco Rubio suggested that they're posturing for their own people. They're saying one thing out in public. They're saying another thing in the negotiations. But again, that's how good the word is of these wretched, wretched people. Meantime, here's what the president had to say this morning. This was before the attack on the Singapore cargo ship.
And last week we signed a historic agreement to end the conflict with Iran, fully open the Strait of Hormuz, and accomplish what no president has ever been able to accomplish before. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. That's done. And thanks to the power and skill of the United States Armed Forces, today Iran has no Navy, no Air Force, no anti-aircraft capacity, no missile launches, no manufacturing, and their leadership has been obliterated. And for the first time in 3,000 years, we are finally going to have peace in the Middle East. We're going to have peace in the Middle East.
Does anybody believe that? For the first time in 3,000 years, Donald Trump is bringing peace to the Middle East. Does anybody believe that? He said that, I beg your pardon, that was last night. And then the president woke up and somebody had to come in and tell him that the Iranians have attacked a Singapore cargo ship in the Strait of Hormuz that we control, with their devastated Army, Navy, and Marines, and Air Force, and Boy Scouts, everybody, Cub Scouts, they're all wiped out. But yet they're still attacking ships. They're still causing havoc in the Strait of Hormuz. They've still got insurance companies nervous as a long-haired, tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. They've still got the oil companies scared to death to go through there. But yet we control it, and there's going to be peace for the first time in 3,000 years. You cannot sell a war. You can't. There's no propaganda. There's no message. There's no scenario that you can create. It is what it is. And now I hope at least you're beginning to see why I have hammered and hammered and hammered almost every day since Epic Fury began to try to get somebody to tell the president, you have to play this straight. This is a war. It's not a campaign. It's not an election. It's not a debate. It's not a primary where you're trying to get rid of a fellow Republican. This is a war. This is a global conflict with global repercussions. And for him to sit up there and lie that everything is hunky-dory and that we've won and that the war is over, I don't understand. And if you guys have some clarity, then explain it to me. Please. Do you believe any of this? That the IRGC is going to go quietly into the night? Really? Honestly, you buy that? Then we're going to give them $300 billion and they're going to feed their people, get them back on their feet. They'd rather kill them. They're like the mafia. They're typical gangsters. You saw Goodfellas. Jimmy the Gem puts together this group of robbers. They steal millions of dollars. And what does he do? Rather than share the money, he just whacks everybody. He whacked everybody that was involved in that robbery, and he kept the money for him and Henry Hill, and he gave Paul a little money. But everybody else, Frenchie, Buddha, all those guys that were involved, they all got whacked. And you don't think the Iranians think like that? Yes, Mr. President, we will take our $300 billion and we will feed our people. Okay. Sure they will. This is insane. It's absolutely insane. And they are talking about putting up a toll. They put out a figure. They've contemplated, because we gave them this leverage. As bad as the 47 years has been with the Iranians, they have never, ever tried to stop up the Strait of Hormuz. But now they realize that they can at any time they want. Just the sound of we've placed mines in the Strait of Hormuz is going to send these insurance companies and these oil companies scrambling. And you know what they suggest? They suggest they'll earn $40 billion a year charging people to go through the Strait of Hormuz. So I may have been wrong. We may have to go back to war with these people, because there's no way in hell we could live with them with the uranium, which, by the way, they have more than they did with the GCPOA. But we cannot live with a tolled strait anywhere on the planet. Anywhere on the planet. And if we set this precedent, Precedent, if we set this precedent that we're going to allow one nation to gobble up international waters, you've got global chaos on your hand, because a lot of other countries are going to be like, they're making how much? Well, you know what? We've got the Panama Canal, thanks to Jimmy Carter. Let's start figuring out some numbers here. Suez Canal, let's start figuring out some numbers here. This has been a mitigated disaster. And at some point, somebody has to point this out to the president. I was all in favor of what he was trying to do. I just didn't like the way he was doing it, primarily because he was relying on people like, a Fox and Friends weekend anchor named Pete Hegseth. A Fox and Friends anchor went from the studio to the Pentagon and is now the leading advisor on how this is done. And that's why it's been done so haphazardly. How in the world did you start this thing without figuring out the Strait of Hormuz? Without going in and solidifying the Strait of Hormuz even before you started bombing? It didn't dawn on them that the Iranians would block up the Strait of Hormuz? No, it didn't. Which absolutely illustrates how just, what are we going to do today? Attitude this thing has been. It has been a mitigated disaster. And if we don't point it out, there are going to be body bags coming home. Because the next step has got to be Karg Island, boots on the ground, Navy ships escorting ships out of the strait. This thing, if this thing is handled badly, or worse than it's being handled, this thing could get ugly. It could get really, really, really ugly. And meantime, the president continues to tell us that the uranium is buried and only us and China can get it. Then why in the hell did we go to war? How can you tell people that they can't get to the uranium, but that we're trying to stop them from getting a nuclear weapon? And nowhere in the MOU does it say anything about their ballistic missiles, as Howard Marcus pointed out to us earlier in the week. Nowhere does it say anything about their nuclear structure, for that matter. The MOU, if you go back, go just look up MOU and read it. Go read the 14 points. And then compare that to what the Iranians are saying. It's so frustrating because I'm so fearful that American boys and girls are going to die. I really believe that we should have just never stopped. I thought we learned that lesson in Vietnam. We should have bombed them into oblivion, into absolute oblivion. But it is what it is. Let's go ahead and take a break. We'll check the board, see what you all are talking about. In the back half of the hour, we'll talk a little sports. I'll give you an update on the Venezuelan earthquakes. Has there been a third, Chris? You checking the board? They are expecting, very rare, to have back-to-back 7 on the Richter scale earthquakes. And the news report that I got this morning is that geologists say a third is on the way. Now would be the time to put troops on the ground in Venezuela to take the place over. I shouldn't even say that out loud. That could get back to the Trump administration, give them thoughts. I should have just shut up. Quick timeout. Coming right back. It's TRBS on a Thursday, June the 25th. Right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. And we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. First Look with Scott Cox, morning 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Friday edition of the First Look program, we have the latest on Cassie Biddles running for the third ward in the city council. Go, Cassie, go. There's obviously World Cup news and not the stuff that you think. There's gigantic Taylor Swift news, and we have that in news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. Table? Right here at News Talk 96.1 at AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
I gave Liz Merrick one of my gift cards to Luigi's Restaurant and Old World Delicatessen. You know Liz, Liz, the redheaded bartender and waitress at Casey's Steakhouse. You all know her. You know she's lived here her whole life, and she's 74 years old. And she's not 74 years old, but she's never been to Luigi's. She's never been to Luigi's. And the next time I go, I'll be on the arm of lovely Teresa Goldner because I'm going to win that bet. And again, I'm going to start with the truffles. This is how I go about it. I hopefully want to go on a Thursday when I get the salmon, but the prime rib sandwich is also good. And if we go on a weekend, I get the Monty burger. And then we'll go into the bar and have a cocktail with Julie Escalante. And then I'm going to take Teresa Goldner into the deli, introduce her to Lynette, one of the greatest sommeliers you'll ever want to run into. Maybe have a glass of one of the Italian wines as suggested by Lynette. I'll introduce her to Gino, take her around to the Bailey bar. It'll be a wonderful afternoon after I win that bet. Because where would you rather be than Luigi's Restaurant and Old World Delicatessen, longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey Show?
Hey, man, how's business going these days?
Oh, not that good. I'm really struggling to find qualified employees for my business.
Oh, really? Have you tried reaching out to Employers Training Resource? They understand that having the right staff can significantly impact your company.
Really? How can they assist me?
Well, they promoted my jobs, held the recruitment, and pre-screened my job applicants, and they even set up the interviews, all at no cost. And they even offer financial hiring incentives like on-the-job training.
Wow, that sounds great. How do I get this?
Simple. All you have to do is call Employers Training Resource at 661-325-HIRE. That's 661-325-4473. Or visit their website at employerstrainingresource.com.
This Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act Equal Opportunity Employer Program is funded by the U.S. Department of Labor's Employment and Training Administration. For full federal funding disclosure details, visit employerstrainingresource.com/WDB/federal-funding-disclosure. Auxiliary aids and services available upon request.
For adults with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms, every choice matters. Tremfya offers self-injection or intravenous infusion from the start. Tremfya is administered as injections under the skin or infusions through a vein every 4 weeks, followed by injections under the skin every 4 or 8 weeks. If your doctor decides that you can self-inject Tremfya, proper training is required. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions, increased risk of infections or lower ability to fight them, and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or need a vaccine. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Of a land and of the free. It's not even close. I mean, it's just not even close.
Oh, I didn't not even.
I'm sorry, Mariah, Marvin Gaye, Carl Lewis, Roseanne. It's not even close.
It's a Whitney.
It's not even close. Tell them what they can do now, Chris.
So this is where you can call in to win the Kern Radio 4th of July contest. What we're doing is twice a day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Randomly throughout the day, we're going to be playing the national anthem as one of our entrance songs to one of our segments. If you call in and you're the fourth caller, you win dinner from Salty's Barbecue and a pie from Marie Callender's on Kern Radio. So feel free to call in.
Personally, I would go with banana cream, personally.
Ooh, good choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, someone brought up the blueberry cream. Never had it, but it sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I'm not a big blueberry guy.
No? Love
No.
blueberry.
And lemon meringue is my favorite, but I only eat my mother's lemon meringue pie.
See, that's what JR said. JR is a big lemon meringue guy, too.
I am huge. But my mother makes the fluff part of the meringue is like heaven. My mother
You
makes.
can explain this to me, but what the heck is rhubarb?
I have no idea.
No?
Rhubarb pie, I've never had it.
I hear that the Happy Jacks is a good one, but I don't know what rhubarb is. So, assume it's a nut of some
no.
kind.
Hey Siri, what is rhubarb?
Rhubarb is the fleshy, edible stalks of species and hybrids of rheum in the family Polygonaceae, which are cooked and used for food.
I still don't know what it is.
That didn't help me at all.
That did not help at all. Really didn't. All right, so the fourth caller, 842-5376, Salties and a pie right down the street, or maybe is the Northeast Marie Calendar still open?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think it's a bank,
it is,
actually.
yeah.
I think it's a Chase Bank. I used to hang out at that one. But there's one right here on California, right near our studios, right near Easton, sandwiched between Barnes & Noble and El Pollo Loco, the crazy chicken. Fourth caller, 842-5376, 842-KRN. In the meantime, we're going to head into the back half of the hour and wrap this thing up. You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, and we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News. I'm John Scott. The Supreme Court's decision allowing President Trump's administration to end temporary legal protections for Haitian and Syrian immigrants may affect people from many other countries. The decision directly applies to about 350,000 Haitians and 6,000 Syrians, but may be a sign of what's in store for nearly 1.3 million people from 17 countries on temporary protected status. A 74-year-old man convicted of killing his wife has become the oldest person to be executed in modern Florida times. Dusty Ray Spencer received a lethal injection for the 1992 stabbing death of his wife, Karen. It was Florida's 9th execution this year. The U.S. men's national team faces Turkey in a World Cup stage finale at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. That matchup at 10 p.m. Eastern. This is SRN News.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. Headlines from the KERN newsroom.
I'm Chris Davis. An objection to the planned spending by the Bakersfield City Council in the budget for next fiscal year passed last night by all but one city council member, Ward 3's Ken Weir, who says $926 million is too much for 1 year.
I mean, if we're going to have a $1 billion budget this year, that is ridiculous.
The High-Speed Rail Authority is getting some criticism for canceling plans to put a station on F Street in downtown Bakersfield with no explanation from the authority. They say the station will now be north of 7th Standard Road. 68-year-old Kenneth Dobbins is still wanted in Cal City for having the dogs who attacked 2 kids last week at Central Park, causing a 12-year-old boy to jump in a pond where he drowned, say police. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
Buy gold and put some silver in your pocket. I know what you're thinking. Everything's expensive right now. How am I going to buy gold? It's Ron Paul. Nowadays, a lot of things are out of your control, but there is something you can do right now to diversify your retirement, and it doesn't cost you anything out of pocket. My friends at Birch Gold Group will help you convert an IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, a time-tested hedge against inflation. Plus, in honor of America 250, Birch Gold is going to give you a special America 250 1-ounce silver round for every $10,000 you purchase by July 2nd. Text the word SECURE to the number 989898 to get a free info kit from Birch Gold and claim eligibility for this limited time offer. Again, text the word SECURE to 989898 today.
In 2026, Bay Alarm celebrates 80 years of security. With burglar and fire alarm systems, 24/7 in-house monitoring, and local service, our promise to the Central Valley remains the same. We got you. Learn more at bayalarm.com.
First Look with Scott Cox, mornings 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Friday edition of the First Look program, we have the latest on Cassie Biddles running for the third ward in the city council. Go Cassie, go. There's obviously World Cup news and not the stuff that you think. There's gigantic Taylor Swift news, and we have that in news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening to the Ralph Bailey Show right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
You know, I've always left him off the list of great trumpet players.
Really?
Yeah, because I lean towards Al Hertz, obviously Lewis, Miles Davis. But yeah, Chuck Mangione has to be in the conversation. I don't think he's better than Al Hurt. I don't think he's better than Miles Davis. I don't think he's better than Louis Armstrong. I think Louis Armstrong was the greatest trumpet player ever. But you got to, and the Marsalis kid, I always forget which one it is, Wynton or the other one. No, Wynton is the one that was on the Tonight Show. What's his brother's name? I should know this. And no, you can't take my black card because it's just bad memory. I knew Wynton. What's Wynton? I'll get it. Hang on a second. Please stand by. Hey, Siri, who is Wynton Marsalis's brother?
I found three.
Branford Marsalis. Branford Marsalis.
I'm seeing Winton as the one that plays.
No. Show me Bradford Marsalis. Hey, Siri, show me Bradford Marsalis. Showed me Brendan Bradford, Wes Bradford's son. Whatever. But yeah, Chuck Mangione's got to be in that conversation. Got to be in that conversation.
Let's see. He was a saxophonist, composer, and band leader.
Who?
Branford. He played the alto sax, like the guy we were talking about the other day.
I'm not sure about that. Hey, Siri, show me the Marcellus brothers.
Here's what I found.
Let's take a look at the jazz combination because they got a bunch of brothers, and their dad was a great musician as well. Doesn't show me on here. Just gives me their songs. Nevertheless, Chuck Mangione's got to be in that conversation. 842-5376-84. That's who that was, by the way, if you did not know that. From way back, 20th century music. What do you got on the board?
Let's see. Ralph, you definitely said you thought the coach would be fired by the All-Star break. Well, there we go.
And I still believe it. There's chaos in that locker room. You got to do something. And how many games out of the first place are they? And they're a better ball club than that. I mean, he's just, you've got to, when a player waves you off from a decision that you make, you've got to meet that player at the first step and be like, what the hell is going on? Or no, that's not what you say. That bet not ever happen again. You understand? Or I mean, seriously, you have to show the other players. It's what Phil Jackson used to do. Phil Jackson, Bobby Knight, Pat Riley, great coaches will chew out the best player on the club to send the message to the Byron Scotts and the Michael Coopers. Well, hell, if he's going to yell at Kareem and Magic like that, what's he going to do to us when we screw up? And when a player openly defies you, you have to get in his face in front of the players and maybe even in front of the television cameras. Because a lot of people's theory is, well, you wait, you do it in the office after the ball game. No, I disagree. Not when he's showing you up on television. When he's waving off your decision to have a pinch runner, no. You got to do the Billy Martin. Not as badly as he did with Reggie Jackson, but Bobby Cox used to do it. Chipper Jones has told stories about that. You got to meet that guy at the step before he even gets to the dugout. And you don't have to, make a show of it, but you've got to say under his breath, that can't ever happen again. And I'm going to need to talk to you in my office when the game is over. And you calmly walk back. But you got to send a message to those other guys. That's not the way we play baseball. You wave off the coach? Good God Almighty. What else you got?
Ralph, admit it. You hate Trump, even though you're a Republican. Admit it that you don't like the man. It oozes out of your thoughts through the radio waves.
When have I denied that? When have I ever denied that I can't stand his character? I think he's a low character human being. But I've made it clear that if they change the Constitution and he ran in 28 against J.B. Pritzker, Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, I'd vote for him again. I have never hidden the fact that I don't like a man who says, Robert Mueller died today? Ha! That's great. That's outstanding. The question is, how can you all put up with the character of him? I understand why you vote for him. I'd vote for him. I understand why you support him. I support him. But how can you embrace the character of a man who says that if you go to Vietnam, which he had bone spurs, if you go to Vietnam and you have the temerity to climb into an aircraft to bomb the Viet Cong and you get shot down, that you're a loser? How can you all put up with that? That's the question. I'll put up with his policies. I'll support him as president. But you damn right, I was raised correctly. I'm not going to embrace some man who says, I'm glad he's dead. Now, if y'all were raised like that, love him, hug him. Say he's got great character. He's dishonest as the day is long. Is he not? Or are you going to sit there and try to tell me that he's an honest man? I have never, ever made any bones about my distaste for the character of our president. Would I vote for him again against the Democrat? You damn right I would. 2016, I told you there's no way this guy gets elected. I went through 4 or 5 candidates before I finally said, he's going to be our guy. I started with Jeb Bush. Then I moved on to Marco Rubio. And then I think I moved off to, I forget. And then after about the second debate, it was becoming clear this was our best shot. I never dreamed that he'd get elected. I told you the story. Was that 24 or 16? I think it was 16. Or was it 24? No, it was 16 because I was drinking pretty good. It was 16. And I was home, had about 3 or 4 drinks already. And I was just going to stay home. And then he won Wisconsin. And I was like, what? He had just won Florida. And I threw on some clothes, jumped in an Uber, ran to Bill Lee's, and thank God there weren't that many people in there. And I just ran in, we're going to win this thing. I mean, the question is, how do you not vote for Trump? How in the world could you vote for Hillary Clinton? How in the world could you vote for Joe Biden? And good God Almighty, do I have to bring up Kamala Harris? But you all think it's a secret that I try to hide the fact that I think he's of low character? Come on. It oozes out of my brains. It oozes out of my pie hole. And if you all want to embrace a man that revels in another man's death, that's how you were raised. That's not politics. That's not decorum. That's who you are. That's how you were raised. My mom and daddy didn't raise me like that. Sorry. I'll vote for the man. I'll support his policies, but you're going to call John McCain a coward? You lost me. You're going to revel in a man's death? You lost me. You're going to get on television and call reporters stupid, crooked. If you're going to plant the seed in America, which he did, that our elections aren't reliable, you lost me. You absolutely lost me. Where now it's even arrived at my own radio station, where we have a host who is an election denier, who takes shots at Amy Espinoza, but yet Steve Hilton won. They have this mechanism, but for some reason they only use it sometimes. So maybe you wanted to call me out and have me say this out loud, but I have never, ever hidden my distaste for Donald Trump's character. The one thing you can assure yourself of, I am never going to lie into this thing. We had somebody here who was my superior who wanted me to lie into this thing. So what I did was just avoid the topic. Well, he's no longer with us. And management has allowed me to express my honesty. And no, don't like the man. Wouldn't have him over to my house for dinner. Well, that's not true. He's the president of the United States. I'd have him at my house for dinner. I definitely would. He's a fascinating man. And as far as up until this recent debacle, he's been, in my opinion, a decent president. But he is on a vengeful tour. I told you he was not going to get Letitia. He was not going to get Comey. He was not. Is he not? Can you not even admit that he's using his own Department of Justice to go after people that he doesn't like? You're not even willing to admit that? Okay. One more. Let's take our final break.
Ralph, the city of Bakersfield really is going to go bankrupt in 19 months. That is what the pearl necklace clutching crowd is saying. What say you?
That's funny that you should say that. I meant to talk about this because the only accountant involved with municipal government agrees with you. And that's Ken Weir. And that scares the crap out of me. Because other than maybe Zach Bachertash, I don't think there's anybody on that council that understands money. Oh, they know how to make money. Bob Smith certainly knows how to make money. Andre Gonzalez somehow knows how to make money. They know how to make money. Eric Arias works for the United Way. They know how to make money. They know how to manage money. There is one accountant that is involved with our municipal government, and that's Ken Weir. And he said the same thing you just said, that this almost $100 million budget is going to be the end of us. So yes, I am deathly afraid. And I mean, what can we expect from this council? Just to sum it up, you do understand, and this is probably statewide news, our county is suing our city. That's how competent our municipal government is. I mean, if you went out of some other state and said that, if you went to New York and said, I live in a county where our county is suing our municipal government, they would laugh at you. Where do you live, Mayberry? Yeah, kind of. Where our city council is part-time. Our mayor doesn't have a vote. She cuts ribbons and goes to events and puts it on Facebook. That's our municipal government. I'm sorry to have to be such a downer. And why do I always do it in the last half hour of the broadcast? Why can't I go back to my television roots? You leave on an up note. Talk about happy stuff. We always end on a horrendous note. Oh, well. Quick time out, final break of the night. Tomorrow is a Friday. Mr. Bentley returns. And are we doing the pie and the dinner again tomorrow?
Yes.
All right, get ready for that. When you hear, are you going with Whitney throughout the whole time, or are you going to mix it up?
I was going to switch it up.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
If we want, I can replay Whitney.
No, it's good to go.
Maybe I'll throw some Fergie in there too.
Yeah,
get a laugh out of it.
Have fun with it. In the meantime, Scott Jennings at the top of the hour. Did I mention that? But you're listening to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96. The man that hates Donald Trump. But I damn should vote for him again. I really would, honest to God. As the kids now say, on my mother. That's what black kids are saying now. Because they can't say on my, never mind. Bad joke? Yeah. Quick time out. You're listening to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 AM 1230. And we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. First Look with Scott.
Three, two. I'm telling you, Dalton Rushing's days with the Dodgers are numbered. In a couple of days or weeks, when he gets either sent back to Oklahoma City or released, you're going to think of Ralph Bailey. Why? Because you just don't mess with the superstar. That is the basic rule of professional sports. John Paxson never messed with Michael Jordan. 3, 2. It's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Friday TRBS. Rick Bentley, KGET entertainment reporter, joins us yet again, and we'll give you the latest on the Iranian situation and a whole lot more. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. I'll see you at 3 o'clock.
And have one of your assistant's assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com. If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And right now, new mattresses start at $1,500 during our 4th of July sale. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number. To a good life sleep.
Are you looking for a hospital that truly cares for your health and well-being? At Good Samaritan Hospital, they provide high-quality medical detox, psychiatric services, and medical and surgical care. They accept most insurances, including Medi-Cal, Medicare, and Kern Family. They offer Kern County's longest-standing inpatient detox program with dual diagnosis that combines medical care and withdrawal management all under one roof. Learn more at GoodSamaritanHospital.com or call 661-215-7500. Good Samaritan Hospital. They care for their community.
Did you know termites can silently feast on your home for 3 to 4 years before you see any damage? They can literally eat a bedroom wall in less than 2 years, causing major structural damage to your biggest investment. Don't wait for the evidence to appear. Ryan's Termite is running an early bird special. If you know or even suspect that you have termites, get on Ryan's schedule now for an additional 10% off our already lowest price. All work is guaranteed. There's no money down and no contracts. Plus, in most cases, you won't even have to move or tent your house. Protect your home and save. Call Ryan's today. That's Ryan'sTermiteControl.com.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and
Got hair up my butt. What can I say? Went out, smoked a joint, came back, got all the time. No, I'm kidding. What do you got on the board? Let's get out of here. I'm headed to Lawson's.
I'm a lifetime conservative. I've voted libertarian since 2016.
Dan, not everybody's got their head up his butt, but I couldn't waste my vote. And I guess in California, it doesn't matter. But, you know, and what's sad is he truly could have gone down as one of the great presidents of all time. He really could have. His kids are going to look back and just say, when they get older, and he's in his fourth quarter of his life, because I think Trump's going to live forever. I think Trump's going to live in his 90s. Had he just come in and just removed all the criminals. And if you want to get to those that are here illegally but are paying taxes and are working, you could have got to that later. You know what I'm saying? But if you had just focused primarily and curbed the behavior of the ICE agents, because no matter how you feel about immigration, whether you want everybody that's here illegally out of this country, there's no way in the world you can support the manner in which they went about it. 2 people are dead. Yes, you could make a very cogent argument that they brought that on, but they should not be dead. ICE agents shouldn't be shooting citizens because, and I'm not going to go over that, but shouldn't be dragging people out of their cars. And just this presidency just got off to such a great start. And then he promised us no wars. Did you hear Marjorie Taylor Greene says she's no longer a Republican. He's his own worst enemy. And again, the real question is not whether Ralph Bailey likes Donald Trump. The real question is, how do you all put up with it? If anybody you knew reveled in another man's death, you would never speak to that person again. I would hope. If a guy that avoided a war had bad words for a veteran, I thought this community loved veterans, and he besmirched John McCain, not only a veteran, but a fighter pilot who was shot down, kept in captivity, could have been let go because his father and grandfather were admirals, but stayed because he wanted to be with his men, despite the fact that he was tortured and that he could never put on a sport coat again, normally. Did you notice that? Poor John McCain died. That he would have to have somebody help him put on a sport coat because of the injuries that he suffered in Vietnam. And your boy called him a loser because he got shot down. The real question is, how do you put up with that kind of character? How do you sit here and tell me that that's a good man? Again, I've done it. I could have left on that great performance that I just put on, but no, I have to go to the dark side. I don't know how I do that. I blame Burdick. You got to be like, Ralph, we're ending the show. Take it down a notch, son. I'd ignore him anyway, but still his fault. Want to thank the kids I forget their schools, but it was Jacqueline Gomez, Lucia White, Anthony Beckman, and Mary Claire Zimmer. They raised some money for Honor Flight. But in the meantime, for Chris Burdick, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on. Wrapped in tomorrow.
Current Radio, AM 1230, KERN, 96.1 FM, K241CI Bakersfield, an American General Media station.
From Town Hall, I'm John Scott. The British military reports a vessel was hit by a projectile off the coast of Oman. Because of that, the United Nations agency paused the evacuation of ships through the Strait of Hormuz. The strike followed the passage of several tankers that used a route backed by the UN. The plan to move stranded ships out of the Persian Gulf through the strait will now be on hold until the agency can confirm safety guarantees. One U.S. official said the vessel was hit by an Iranian drone. A man who set a California councilman on fire last year has been sentenced to 40 years in prison.
Shotzi Buck Hayes pleaded guilty in April to 1 count each of attempted first-degree murder and aggravated malicious wounding in the 2025 attack on Lee Vogler. Witnesses say Buck Hayes walked into Vogler's Danville office with a bucket of gasoline, doused him, chased him from the building, and set him ablaze. Vogler suffered burns over 60% of his body. Vogler made an emotional statement about how the attack had altered his life. Buck Hayes also spoke, repeating that he was motivated by an alleged affair between Vogler and Buck Hayes' wife. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
As Europe bakes, the UK recording its hottest June day, 96.4 degrees Fahrenheit.
I'm here in London covering yet another hot day. People are doing as much as they can do to stay cool. Drinking water, seeking out parks and shady areas,